Good morning. This is Judge Wish. Is this the interpreter?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Sure can.
Okay. I couldn't hear you very, very little, so I don't know if you can speak up a little bit more or get closer to
Can you hear me? Can you hear me better now?
I can. Thank you.
Hello.
Can you
Okay, good,
state
sure.
your name and your ID number and let me know if you've been previously sworn today?
Kwame. Yes, I was previously sworn in, and my name is Kwame. That's Kwame, and my ID is KQKF. That's Kilo Quebec Kilo Foxtrot.
Okay, thank you. And then I have an individual before me today. Last name is Jean Baptiste. If you could introduce yourself so that I know he understands you.
One second, Your Honor. It's a
Oh, okay.
female.
It should be a female, yes.
Hello, Kusha.
She's not. Hold on one
Hello?
second. They've not brought her in just yet. So hold on. I thought it was somebody
Okay,
else.
I want to be sure we speak the same Creole.
Yes,
Jean Baptiste sounds like you may be from Haiti. It may be Haitian Creole you need, but and you see there are different Creoles. But anyway, let's see when he comes or when she comes.
We'll see when they bring her in.
No problem.
All right. She is now present in the courtroom. If you could introduce yourself, Mr. Interpreter.
Hello, Kusho, everybody. Hello, Jean Baptiste.
She may need to get
Hello, you
closer
speak
to
Creole?
the microphone.
You from?
No English.
Hello, how you do?
Hello?
You talk Creole? Hello?
Hello?
You from where? From Haiti? From Haiti? Sierra Leone? Which country?
No English.
You talk Creole? Hello?
Hello?
Can you hear
Hello?
her?
You speak? It is. I can hear very clearly. Can you talk Creole?
Creole?
Hello, Kusho. Creole from where? From Haiti? Haiti?
ID?
From Haiti? From Haiti, okay. Okay, she speaks Haitian Creole. You're going to need a Haitian Creole interpreter, I'm afraid.
Okay. We will call back for a Haitian Creole interpreter then. Thank you.
Pleasure, no problem. Bye.
Stay right there.
Come on up because we're having interpreter issues today. It's always something. It's always something. Oh, I'm sorry. It really hasn't been apparently communicated very well because attorneys think that we start at 11 because they're being told that when they call, but not by us. But so we'll see. We may have to post it on the 9th. I thought that was going to be done, but. Well, thank you. You too. Good morning. This is Judge Wish. Is this the Haitian Creole interpreter?
There's a lot of statics on the line. Good morning.
I'm sorry?
Good morning. There's a lot of statics on the line.
There's a lot of static on the line. Okay. Can you hear me clearly now?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. Can you state your name, your ID number, and whether you've been previously sworn in today?
Miss Savanta, the ID is 264878. The lady will call me, sworn me in.
Okay. And then if you could speak up just a little bit more for me, I'd appreciate it. Just even if you're
Really
yelling.
loud. Let me put my whole voice volume up. 1 second, please.
I can't really hear you, ma'am.
Yes, because the line has a lot of statics in it, but I'm speaking really loud.
Okay, that is better. Thank you. I have a female in front of me, Jean Baptiste. She speaks Haitian Creole. If you could please introduce yourself to her so I know she understands you, and ask her to speak into the microphone as loudly as possible, please.
Bonjour, moi c'est un interprète. L'on parle par les phones à micro.
Okay.
All right. Can you please tell me your name, ma'am?
Comment elle est, madame?
Yves Jean-Baptiste.
Rose Jean-Baptiste.
All right, ma'am. You're here in case number 2020 MM4233.
Numéro dossier, c'est 2020 MM4233.
You are arrested for domestic violence battery.
Je suis arrêté pour domestique violence bâtie.
I find probable cause.
Moi, je viens une cause qui pour battre.
Ma'am, did you wish to have the public defender appointed to represent you?
Est-ce que vous souhaitez pour un défenseur public qui vous aider, madame?
Comment? M'entendez bien, non?
How? I cannot hear.
Allô?
Is she? Are you all having problems hearing over in courtroom too?
No, Your Honor.
No? Okay. Maybe repeat yourself, please, ma'am, Madam Interpreter.
I'm sorry, can you please repeat as well?
If she wants the public defender appointed to represent her.
Est-ce que vous voulez plus un défenseur public qui vous aider, madame?
Oui.
Yes.
Okay, I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you, ma'am.
OK, ma bail bureau défenseur public là pour aider, madame.
Do we have any
D'accord.
witnesses present for Miss Baptiste or John Baptiste? I don't see
Est-ce que nous
any.
avons un témoin qui est présent pour madame Baptiste, mais madame Jean-Baptiste?
All right. Ma'am, I am ordering that you have no contact directly or indirectly with the victim in the case.
Madame, moi, il n'y a aucun contact avec la victime qui est dans le dossier.
We have a no contact order form in front of you that is written in Haitian Creole. I'd ask that you please sign it.
Et en forme qui c'est pour pas qu'il y ait aucun contact avec ma velle qui est devant là. Ici en créole, là, ici en collier. Moi, je voulais pour signer.
Et papier, c'est pour qui ça lié?
What is that paper for?
I'm sorry, I could not understand you, Madam Interpreter.
What is that paper for?
It is a no contact order. It is written in your native language.
C'est un lot pour pas qu'il y ait aucun contact avec moun nan. Et il est écrit dans la langue que vous parlez, dans la langue natalo.
So, ma'am, you're ordered to have no contact directly or indirectly with the victim.
Nous plaçons l'autre pour pas qu'il y ait aucun contact directement.
You're also to maintain a separate residence.
Et puis tout pour rester dans un cas qui est différent de lui.
You may return one time with law enforcement to get any personal belongings.
Ou ka juste retourner dans kay kote te a 11 fois et puis c'est pour retourner avec moun la police de moun la loi juste pour qu'elle prenne ça ou gagner yo.
You're not to possess weapons or firearms or ammunition.
Ou pas supposé gagner zam ou bien n'importe l'autre bagage que moun ka utiliser pour faire mal, bien n'importe balle et munitions.
And do we know if she will she qualify for pretrial release?
She didn't qualify for pretrial. We were unable to verify her community ties.
Okay. Based on her lack of criminal history, I am going to release her on her own recognizance today.
Le fait que pas gagné aucun dossier déjà, n'a obligé la guerre sous propre reconnaissance par.
Ms. John Baptiste, you need to make sure that you show up to any court hearings that you're required to be at.
Madame Baptiste, faut faire sûr pour venir dans n'importe quel tribunal qui a demandé pour venir.
Did you understand everything written on that no contact order form that you signed?
Est-ce que vous comprenez toute bague qui est dans forme ça qui dit qu'il n'y a aucun contact là pour sortir?
M'a fait pour me sortir côté mieux.
I have to move out from the place.
You have to live in separate residences. So if the victim is present, you may not live there.
Pour nous rester dans différents cas. Si victime n'a rester dans cas là ou pas arrêter là-dedans.
All right. Thank you
okay.
so much.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam. Thank you, Madam Interpreter. I appreciate your help.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service, Your Honor. Have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye. All right. Good morning. Tell me your name, please.
Manuel Ortiz.
All right, Mr. Ortiz, looks like you're here on two writs of attachment for case number 2008 DR 2918 and then 2012 DR 1431. I've been given an order indicating that you have two court dates. One looks like on July the 5th, June 11th, 2020, and they're both on that same day. Oh, okay, never mind. July 7th, both on July 7th. There's a lot of dates on here. So you're going to have to report. There's going to be information that's given to you when you are released.
Okay.
The hearing's at 10:30 a.m. and a second writ of bodily attachment could be ordered by the court if you do not appear when you're supposed to be there. But I believe that you're going to be released as to these cases. So make sure that you comply with that notice, okay?
No problem, ma'am.
All right.
So what is she?
Your Honor, Jane Doe is still mental health.
All right, I think this was reset by Judge Carter. Ms. Fowler, I don't know, was there any discussion yesterday as to this case?
I believe the state did have an offer.
Okay, was anybody able to talk to her?
No, Your Honor. I mean, we can waive her appearance.
Okay. All right, so the PD was previously appointed. I do find probable cause for the offenses of trespass in an occupied structure to refusal to leave and possession of drug paraphernalia. And do we have any criminal history at all? Has she been identified?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, you know what? If she hasn't been identified at this time and she's not present, I'm not going to do the initial appearance.
Okay, Your Honor.
I don't know who she is. I have no criminal history. I'm not going to. So she'll just be reset.
Okay, Your Honor.
Sorry, Madam Clerk. But she hasn't been identified yet. Tate. So they put in more. All right. Good morning, sir. Tell me your name, please.
Wayne Robinson.
All right, Mr. Robinson, this is a reset from yesterday in 2020 MM 4202AO. And the PD was previously appointed to represent you yesterday. Was there an offer that was extended to Mr. Robinson?
Yes, Your Honor. Adjudication of guilt, 4 days with 3 days credit time served, court costs.
So it's a 4-day offer with credit for 3?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Yes, sorry.
He has 2 days.
He has 2 days?
Came in on
Okay, so Mr. Robinson, there's probable cause for the offenses of open container and disorderly intoxication. The state's made an offer of 4 days with credit for 2 days time served. That means you would get out tomorrow,
Okay.
and I would give you a year to pay your court costs. Is that something that you would like to do today?
A year?
To pay your court costs?
Okay, yes. Good.
Okay, not a year in jail.
And Your
Credit
Honor,
for-
enter a plea of no contest.
Okay. Did you read the plea form before you came into the courtroom, Mr. Robinson?
I believe so.
Okay. And did you understand everything that was on the plea form?
I guess I didn't.
Well, you either
I
did or you
understand.
did not.
I got one more night to stay in jail, right?
Okay, well, but where is that on the plea form? So there's a host of
I
rights that you're
understand.
giving up when you're entering a plea. Do you understand?
I'm pleading guilty.
Okay. Ms. Fowler, do you want to explain to him?
Yes, Your Honor.
So we're not up there anymore? We were up there. They keep moving. Mr. Robinson, do you need some time to read the plea form? We can recall your case.
I understand it.
I can't hear you. You're
I
gonna have to
understand
talk
it, ma'am.
Okay. And do you have any questions about what's on the plea form?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Are you on probation anywhere?
No, I'm not.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Okay.
Is that a yes or a
Yes,
no?
I understand. I'm a U.S. citizen, though.
Okay. All right. I find a factual basis to accept your plea to both charges. I'll adjudicate you guilty on each count, sentence you to 4 days with credit for 2 days time served. Those counts will run concurrent, and I'll order that you're not to return, or excuse me, not to pay your court costs by June 11th, 2021. If you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. Good luck, sir. All right. Good morning, sir. Please tell me your name.
Dexter Crabtree.
All right, Mr. Crabtree, you're here in 2020 CF 7220. You were arrested for battery by strangulation, domestic violence battery, and battery on a law enforcement officer. I do find probable cause for those offenses, and I'll appoint the public defender. Are there any witnesses present today for Mr. Crabtree? I don't see anybody approaching for Mr. Crabtree. I'm going to have you sign the no contact order, Mr. Crabtree, ordering that you have no contact directly or indirectly with any victim or any witness in the case.
Okay.
You're also to maintain a separate residence. If you need to return back to the residence, you'll need to go with law enforcement to get any personal belongings, no weapons, no firearms, no ammunition, no drugs, no alcohol without a valid prescription. If you have any weapons or any firearms, you're going to need to surrender them to law enforcement within 6 hours of your release from the Orange County Jail. Your bond on count 1 is $2,500. Your bond on count 2 is $100. Your bond on count 3 is $2,500.
So that's, may I ask if are those all together? Like,
The total
I'm from
bond
Georgia,
is
so I'm sorry.
The total bond is $5,100.
and so the bondsman will want 10% of that, correct?
I don't know. You're going to have to call a bondsman.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I just can't tell you what a specific bondsman would do. Okay.
Right, I understand. Thank you. That's it? We're done?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, sir. Please tell me your name.
Randy McMullen.
All right, Mr. McMullen, you're here in 2020 CF 7203AO. You're arrested for domestic violence battery. I do find probable cause for that offense, and I will appoint the public defender. We do have a witness present in the courtroom with me. Ma'am, can you raise your right hand to be sworn in, please? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay. You can take if you're comfortable taking your mask off. You're socially isolated in there. If it's just easier to hear, but if you want to keep it on, you can keep it on. Can you tell me your name and spell your last name for me, please?
Marlene Maestre Rodriguez, MAESTRE-RODRIGUEZ.
Okay, and then can you tell me, please, how you know Mr. McMullen?
I am his wife.
Okay, how long have you been married?
Married since March 1st of this year.
And how long have you been together?
On and off the past 5 years.
Okay. Have there been any other instances of violence in your relationship?
There was one back in Alaska over 5 years ago.
Over 5 years ago? Okay. Were you the victim in that case? Is that a yes? You're nodding your head.
Yes,
okay.
I apologize.
Do you think, are you afraid of him?
I am not afraid of him.
Do you want to have continued contact with him through the pending of the case?
Yes, he came down here, and I'm the only person that he has here.
And you say came down here?
We moved from Alaska.
Okay. How long ago?
The 27th of last month.
Okay. And then do you think drugs or alcohol had any involvement in what may have happened?
Yes, I do. Alcohol.
Does that seem to be a problem?
It hasn't up until now. It was something that was a problem in the past, and it was resolved, and he was better. And now, as of yesterday, it's become a problem.
Okay. Ms. Fusco, do you have any additional questions? Well, one more. If anything like this were to happen in the future, you felt threatened, would you call law enforcement?
Yes.
Ms. Fusco, do you have any other additional questions?
Nothing further, Your Honor, but related to the facts, would ask for no contact.
Okay. And can everybody hear Ms. Fusco over there?
A little bit, Your Honor.
Okay. It's very difficult for me to hear you, and I'm right in front of you, so I know you have the microphone there, but with the technology, it's even more difficult, so I just want to make sure they can hear what you're saying. So she said no additional questions. Ms. Fowler, do you have any additional questions?
No questions, Your Honor.
All right. I appreciate you coming here and testifying. I reviewed the affidavit based on the prior history as well. I'm not going to allow contact today. That can be changed by a judge in writing as soon as a motion is filed. If that's what you wish to have contact, and a judge will make that determination. But today I'm not going to allow contact. Okay. So, Mr. McMullen, I am going to have you sign the no contact order form, please. And so you're also going to have to maintain a separate residence. So if she's at the residence, you can't be at the residence. You may return with law enforcement one time to get personal belongings that you may need. No alcohol or drugs without a valid prescription. No weapons or firearms or any ammunition. You do qualify for pretrial release. I'm going to place you in pretrial release. You will not have to post a monetary bond. So you will be released today. You need to make sure that you comply with the court's orders as well as pretrial release. If you violate any court order, that can be a new law violation, okay? Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you for your testimony.
Thank you.
All right. Good morning. Please tell me your name.
Jason Wilburn.
Mr. Wilburn, you're here in 2020 MM 4205AO. You're arrested for domestic violence battery. I do find probable cause for that offense. The affidavit that I have in front of me indicates that you make $700 a week. Is that correct, sir?
I say like 500.
Okay, so you make $500 a week, and
Yeah.
then you're still not going to qualify, I don't believe. Where do you work?
Champion Service is demolition crew.
Okay. And so is that $500 your paycheck?
Yes, ma'am.
And is that, so taxes have already been taken out?
No, not after taxes. It's probably lower than that after. It's lower than that after taxes.
Okay, so what is your paycheck?
I say probably like every week like 460.
Okay, so it went from 700 to 500 to 460 is what you're telling me?
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you, sir. And is there any witnesses present for Mr. Wilburn? And I don't see anybody approaching. And so, Mr. Wilburn, I am ordering that you have no contact directly or indirectly with any victim or witness in the case. I'll have you sign the no contact order. You're also to maintain a separate residence. If you need to go back to the residence, you can go with law enforcement one time to get personal belongings. You're not to possess weapons or firearms or any ammunition. DCF was contacted. If there's an investigation pending, you must comply with that investigation. You do qualify for pretrial release.
Yes,
I am
ma'am.
going to release you on that program. Make sure you comply with my court orders as well as their conditions of release, sir. Okay?
Thank you.
Did you understand everything on that no contact order?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Mr. Mason, do you need to speak with your client? Sorry? Yeah, that's fine. I don't know if they'll let you go back. I don't know what the rules are, so. They look like they're in timeout over there. I don't know. All right, sir, can you tell me your name, please?
Darius Bell.
All right, Mr. Bell, you're here in 2020 CT 776 AW. Okay. And in that case, you're arrested for driving while license suspended. I find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. We've also got 2020 MM 4230AO. It's possession of drug paraphernalia. And I do find probable cause for that offense as well, and I'll appoint the public defender. I'm going to take a little look at your driving record here. So I'm showing that there's one prior driving while license suspended. Looks like you pled on March 12th, 2020. So if you wanted to resolve your cases today, I'm not sure if you do, but if you wanted to resolve your cases today, that would be the second conviction. If you get 3 within 5 years, you will lose your license for 5 years. Okay, and if you get another one, so if you pled to this one, and now with the other conviction, the next one would be or could be charged as a felony. Do you understand those enhancements?
I believe so.
Your Honor, may I have a moment with him?
Sure. Is there an offer, Ms. Fusco?
I didn't have one, Your Honor.
Okay. Well, he has no... Ms. Fowler, it may benefit him. He qualifies for pretrial release. Other than this Willis, and I'm not sure what happened with it. It's showing that it was a withhold, so but it could still be upgraded as a withhold. But other than that, he has no prior history whatsoever. So I kind of don't want to tarnish that for him today.
Will the court consider ROR?
I will. Mr. Bell, I'm going to ROR you on your cases. How long have you lived in Florida?
Since May of 2005.
Okay, is the Maple Grove Drive your correct address?
Yes.
Okay. I appointed the PD. You need to make sure you keep in touch with them. You don't miss any court dates. If you do, you could get a capias. It could be at no bond. All right?
What does that mean?
That means that you'll sit in jail until a judge gives you bond if you miss a court date. Okay? That you don't want that to happen. All right?
Yes.
So, important that you keep your criminal history clean. So I'm going to release your ROR, make sure that you don't miss any court dates. Keep in touch with the public defender's office. Call them within 24 hours of your release, okay?
Thank you.
All right. No driving without a valid driver's license.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a great day.
Good morning. Tell me your name, please.
Good evening, Ada Shibuya.
All right, Ms. Shabir, you're here in 2020 CT 3734. You're arrested for driving under the influence. I do find probable cause for that offense, and I will appoint the public defender's office to represent you.
I don't
Can you not hear me, ma'am? You can't hear me? Am I loud enough over there?
Yeah, you're loud.
That's better? Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, did you hear anything that I said?
Do I what?
Did you hear anything that I said?
No.
Okay. So you were arrested in 2020 CT 3734 for driving under the influence. I find probable cause for that offense. I've appointed the public defender's office to represent you. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. I am going to place you on pretrial release with random urinalysis. Please make sure that you do not ingest any illegal substances or any alcohol. If you test positive, that can be a violation of your release, and you can be held at no bond.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. Tell me your name, please.
Good morning, Gene Moises.
All right, sir, you're here in 2020 CT 3735. You're arrested for an expired driver's license over 4 months. And I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender. You're also here in 2020 MM 4231AO. It's a resisting an officer without violence. I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you in that case as well. Ms. Fusco, did you have an offer to resolve the cases?
As he has a lot of driving history, probably not today, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Moise, if you want to resolve your case today, it would be credit for time served. Do you want to do that?
I don't understand. I'm a queer. I don't understand.
Your Honor, may I have a moment?
Sure.
Your Honor, he stated that he would like to resolve his case today.
Okay. All right, Mr. Moise, did you understand everything on that plea form?
Your Honor, he stated he does.
You can't take the mask off, sir. You need to keep the mask on.
Your Honor, he needs a moment to read it.
Okay.
And was the public defender office appointed?
Yes.
I'll give you understand. It's okay. You don't understand. I read a little bit Creole.
Your Honor, he cannot read English. He needs Creole.
Yeah.
I don't know if we have. Do we have a plea form in Creole?
No, I don't believe so, Your Honor.
I understand a little bit. Yeah, I did a Creole.
Your Honor, he stated that he does not understand what's going on. He needs a Creole interpreter.
Okay. Is it Haitian Creole or Creole?
Haitian Creole.
Haitian Creole? Haitian Creole, Your Honor.
Okay. We'll call the Creole interpreter. We're not going to be able to do a plea today, though.
Okay, Your Honor.
We're gonna. Do we have Mr. or Miss Pollock
Bonded, Your Honor.
bonded? Mr. Mason, I'll get to you right after we do the interpreter, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Finch? Is he Finch? Oh, you learned.
Huh? Yeah, we can do that. I don't know how long this is taking. They're just waiting to get an interpreter on the line. Can we bring in Mr. Rittmeyer?
He's here.
Okay. Mr. Mason? Mr. Mason, I'm calling your case. All right, can you just announce yourself?
Good morning, Your Honor. Lyle Mason on behalf of the defendant.
And can you tell me your name, sir?
Rory Rittmeyer.
All right, Mr. Rittmeyer, you're here in 2020 CF 6920AO. It's a warrant for a violation of pretrial release. And the judge who signed that warrant set the bond at none. You do have Mr. Mason as your attorney in the case. We do have a witness present. So first I'll hear from the witness, and then Mr. Mason, any cross-examination or any arguments as to what you want to argue. Can you raise your right hand to be sworn in, ma'am? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell me your name and then spell your last name for me, please?
It's Elizabeth, and then
Speak up, just so it's...
Okay. It's Elizabeth, and then Hudson.
Okay. So Hudson?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then how do you know Mr. Rittmeyer?
We were dating.
How long were you dating?
2 years.
Okay. When did you break up?
I guess on the 3rd.
Of this month?
Yeah.
Okay. And then are you afraid of him?
Yes.
And I believe, if I'm not correct, there's an injunction in place?
Yes.
Okay. And are you the petitioner of that injunction?
Yes.
Okay. And so there's also a no contact order in place as well?
Yes.
Okay. Is there anything that you wanted to tell me?
Not really. Just kind of, I'm tired of him and his family trying to contact me.
Okay. Are you in fear?
Yes.
Ms. Fusco, do you have any questions?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Mason, do you have any questions for Ms. Hudson?
Yes. Good morning, Ms. Hudson. The contact that you're referring to was a text message from the defendant's mother, correct?
Correct.
And the text message that you got was the day that the defendant was arrested. It was while he was still in custody, correct?
It was after the sentencing, like this one. So
It
was like a few hours after. So it wasn't like I don't know. I mean, it was right after the hearing.
Okay, so it was right after the hearing. It was like 3 o'clock. in the
After he
afternoon.
signed the no contact order. Yes.
Agreed. So it was 3 o'clock. It was about 3 o'clock, right after this initial hearing that you would come to when he got arrested, correct?
I guess it was around 3. I mean.
Okay. And his mother had contacted you, and the reason she was contacting you was she had said she wanted to get his cat, cookies.
Well, that's not what she said. She said Rory just called me and told me to call you.
Correct. So she had said that she had spoken to Rory, and she had asked to call you, but she was telling you about the cat, correct?
She didn't ask why. She didn't say why she wanted to call me. She just said Rory told me to call you.
Okay, so she didn't say to you, I need to get crackers ASAP. I certainly would never harm you. Can I get crackers?
I don't believe I got that text message.
If I show you a copy of the text message, would it help refresh your recollection?
If you want.
Okay. May I approach, Your Honor?
Approach me?
Approach the witness.
Sure. You might want to show this Ms. Fusco what you're showing. But I want to see all of them.
It started at 7:45.
So I would need to see all of them, not just the one about the cat.
I'm showing you all of them. So it starts at 7:45 a.m. the day that he's arrested. This is the mom.
Okay, so they're going to
It's scrolling up. This is all the mom. It's like,
Right.
That was a separate text message. That wasn't the same one when she was saying he wanted to call me. She didn't say that's the reason why he wanted her to call me.
Mr. Mason, I'm going to need you to be by a microphone. I know you showed it to her. It's just because of the way that things are recorded right now.
I understand. So I agree. So let's ask it this way. So Rory's mom began texting you at 7 o'clock in the morning, correct?
I guess. I mean, I don't remember the exact time.
If I showed you the picture of the
I
text
don't have my
messages,
phone
would
on
that
me,
time
so I
to help
can't.
you?
You can't talk
if you're-
over each other, okay? So one person answers the question, one person asks the question. Don't talk over each other, please.
No worries. Again, it's not a trick question. It's just did his mom start texting you at approximately, regardless of time, it was early in the morning, approximately 8 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, she's been contacting me constantly until that time, yeah.
Okay,
Until
so
the
she was
time
contacting you all day that day.
And the day before, yeah.
The day before that as well, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And then she kept texting you, and then ultimately you had responded. You were talking back and forth with her, correct?
I responded once, but I didn't really want to talk to her, so I kind of just kept it short. I don't remember exactly what I said. I just was kind of wondering why they were bothering me.
Okay. And then ultimately, in the afternoon, she had texted you if she could get Crackers, who is his cat, correct?
The cat that he said was also my cat as a gift, yes.
Okay. Since he got out of jail, and since that contact, after she'd asked to get Crackers, has anyone contacted you?
Yes.
Who?
His dad.
His dad? When was that?
He called me Monday morning, and he was trying to talk to me, and I hung up because I didn't know it was his number. I guess I deleted it, and then I got a random phone number thinking it was a cop, and it was hey, it's Chris, Rory's dad.
Well, actually, in fact, didn't the police actually contact you?
The police have been contacting me on and off, but that's why I answered the phone, because I thought it was a police officer. I don't know his number, and then he said it was Rory's dad.
And when the police officers contacted you, they'd asked you to do, because the court had ordered that he'd be allowed to go to the house one time, they contacted you and asked you if you can come over, but you kept saying you weren't home and wouldn't let him over, correct?
I wasn't home, and I said that the best day would be to come over on my day off because I've been working a lot.
And did you ever agree to any day for him to come over?
Yeah.
What day was that?
Monday.
What day?
They called me Friday, and then I said it would be best if he would come Monday.
Okay. And were you home when they called you?
No.
You're 100% sure you weren't home?
I was not home.
Okay. Has ever since he's been released from jail, has he ever contacted you?
No.
Okay. Thank you. I don't have any further questions.
Okay, Ms. Fusco, did you have any additional questions?
No additional questions, Your Honor. It's just that the no contact order is for contact directly or indirectly, and if the text said that the defendant asked her to contact, that was still a violation. And I guess if this is a probable cause argument, that it's already been found.
I don't think it's a probable cause argument because probable cause has already been found pursuant to the warrant. But I think Mr. Mason is getting to me trying to get a bond.
Yes, Your Honor.
And I don't have the benefit of what was attached to the affidavit for the violation. It indicates that there are attachments as evidenced by screenshots of text messages from the defendant's mother. And I don't have that, and I'm not taking what's on your phone as any evidence of anything because that's not what was provided to the court, and I don't know where those things came from.
I agree, Your Honor, but we have the witness's testimony who is confirming that is the content of the conversation we were talking about. The content of the conversation, the contact that occurred, was literally the day that the mom was contacting before she'd even seen the court, and the mom contacted an hour after he came out of the court. The mom only contacted her regarding the cat, and it wasn't at the will of the defendant to break any no contact order. He wasn't even out of jail. He was literally out of this courtroom for 5 seconds.
But the quote on the affidavit is, he just called and asked me to talk to you.
I agree.
So I don't have a copy of the text messages or the timestamps or anything of that nature. I don't have that attached, and I've looked in the court file. It's not in there, but it was obviously attached when I think Judge Johnson signed the affidavit.
Your Honor, for the benefit of the court, we could still, one, take the testimony that was there. Two, I can have these, if I can email them to your assistant. As the court, I spoke to the judicial assistant.
Well, I need what was attached. You can provide whatever you want, but I still need what was attached to the warrant, and I don't have that.
Agreed. The message that's referring to, it says, he told me to call you, is literally part of the messages that we were just going over. I can have them read into the record and confirm that they are what they are by this witness, Your Honor.
Right.
But what we do have confirmed absolutely is that it was the day that he had the no contact. He was still sitting in this jail cell. It was literally an hour after they left of here. It's not even necessarily he had time to have contact with his mom to have that conversation. Of course, it's a normal conversation to have with your mom when you're sitting in jail. Say, hey, can you make sure you get my cat? And if on her own volition,
she's saying that it's her cat too.
I mean, that's a...
Well, just saying that...
That could be a whole dispute that's on
Right.
another end, on a different level. But the purpose is, was there a willful violation of this? He hasn't contacted her since he's been out of jail.
I don't know, but today's not the day to determine whether there was a willful violation.
I understood, but I think the court still has the discretion to say, if the defendant is literally just came out of this hearing from before, I don't know if this court was the one that entered the original bond, but it came out from the original initial appearance that in under an hour, while the defendant's still sitting in a jail cell, the mom makes a contact that says, hey, he asked me to contact you about the cat. I don't necessarily know that we should hold someone in jail as right now indefinitely on that.
It was me. I did hear the original case.
And if you could check the time that he went was at 2 o'clock, and as she's saying, the text came at 3 o'clock. And the mother had been texting all day long prior to that. The defendant in this case did not reach out to her. The defendant tried to abide by this court's order and contacted law enforcement to do a one-time pickup. The alleged victim.
That should have been what he was advised to do.
And that's what he did do. He didn't ask his mom to contact her after the no contact order to say
that's not what
that.
the quote says. I understand where you're getting at, Mr. Mason, but that's not what it's quoted in the affidavit.
Understood. Well, then I would ask for the court to consider this.
Why shouldn't I believe what the mother was texting?
Even if the mother, that's not even the issue. It's the mother. Even if at some point the defendant said to the mother, "Hey, can you contact her to give about the cat?" It wasn't a violation where she's trying to contact this defendant or the victim in this case. There's no threat to the victim in this case. It's literally an hour after this hearing happened. So to give some benefit to the defendant, is there any threat or risk of harm to the victim right now?
I don't know. She's telling me that she feels threatened and that she's getting threats and that the father has called her. So she's indicated there's been some other violations as well.
Agreed. I think we went into that. That was the police officers calling who he tried to contact. He's never contacted himself. He went to the police officers. She's not.
Okay, but then
agreed
maybe
to
I
meet.
misunderstood.
She did say, yes, I thought the cops were calling me, so I thought maybe it was the cops, but I think it was the father.
Well, let me get some clarification then.
Okay.
Okay, so Miss Hudson, did his father call you or did the police call you?
His father.
Okay, and when specifically did his father call you?
Monday morning.
Okay, and that was how many days after his initial appearance?
I guess his appearance, I forget what day his appearance was. I guess a few days.
So he was seen on...
I don't remember the date.
On June 4th. That was a Thursday. So the mother called you on Thursday after the first appearance in the order. And then you're telling me that the father called you on Monday, you believe the 8th? That would be that Monday?
Yeah.
Okay. And did you speak with the father?
No, I just said hello. And then he said, "Hey, Liz." And I'm like, "Who is this?" And he's like, "It's Rory's dad. Can we speak for a minute?" And then I hung up because I was like, whoa, I didn't know he was calling me, you know?
Okay. And since then, has anybody called you?
Not since then.
Okay. And has the defendant in any way reached out to you?
No.
Okay. Are you in fear?
Yes.
Have you been receiving any threats?
No.
Okay. And so, are you in fear of him because of the incident that happened that he was arrested for on the 4th?
I mean, that, and he just knows everything about me and my schedule and everywhere I go and what I do. I don't know. And his dad, they live right down the road. I mean, I'm always scared when I come back to the house that someone's in there. He has a key to the house.
Okay.
You know?
When did you get the injunction?
I got it Tuesday. Well, I applied for it Tuesday, and I came back Wednesday, and they said, yes, you have an injunction now.
And since the injunction, has anybody contacted you from his family or any of his friends?
No.
Your Honor, if I may address something that was said previously, he's saying there hasn't been a specific threat, but the no contact order didn't say you cannot threaten. It says you can't contact even through indirectly, and her testimony was that the mother said, Rory contacted me and asked me to call you, so that is an indirect contact.
Mr. Mason, any additional questions?
No. So for clarity with the court is when I heard the testimony of this defendant, she said that she thought that the police were calling, and then she thought that the defendant. I misheard whether or not she actually had that conversation. But for the end of this is, did the defendant willfully do this? Is regardless of probable cause, there's probable cause to believe it. It's while the defendant is sitting in jail that his mom calls the ex-girlfriend who they've been dating to ask about the cat. I don't think that's a threat. I understand.
It doesn't need to be.
It doesn't need to be a threat. I understand the veracity of the violation is that someone contacted. Just has to be no contact. It's within 1 hour of leaving here. It's the mom who asked to get a cat. The court should consider whether or not there's a risk of harm or a threat. As the victim testified, he's not contacted her since, especially since the injunction. There's two things in place. He's gone to law enforcement to try to go over there to get stuff. He's never gone to the house. He's never tried to attempt to get the cat. I don't necessarily know. He has no past criminal history whatsoever. I don't think that it's just improper to leave him in jail over the fact that his mom made a text message in the semantics of saying he told me to contact you about the cat. I believe it'd be appropriate if we could set a bond in this case. If he violates the no contact order in any way, shape, or form, she can always report that again. But at this stage, because the mom called about trying to get a cat after the hearing.
Well, now there's an injunction. So
absolutely
I'm just
a violation
saying,
of an injunction.
Now there's an injunction. So if he contacts her in any way, shape, or form,
it's a crime.
It's a violation of the injunction as well.
Correct.
So now he's already got another issue.
100%.
So, Mr. Rittmeyer,
Yes, Your Honor.
you've received the injunction, correct?
Yes, when I came into jail.
Okay, and so you've been served with that.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand everything that's contained in that injunction?
I believe so. I believe it's very similar to the no contact order.
Okay, but you have a copy of it.
Yes, in my hand.
Okay. And do you understand that no contact directly or indirectly means that nobody in your family, none of your friends, can contact the victim in the case?
Is that just on my behalf, ma'am?
I don't understand your question.
Are they allowed to contact her if it's not on my behalf?
Well, I mean, if they're delivering a message or saying that they
Right.
want to come pick up a cat or any of your personal belongings, but they shouldn't have any reason to contact her.
Yes, ma'am, I
If
agree.
anybody should be contacting her, it should be the state attorney's office, or your attorney can call her and she can choose to talk to your attorney or not.
Yes, ma'am,
You
I understand that.
Okay. Just so we're clear,
Yes, ma'am.
no contact means no contact.
Yes,
you can't
ma'am.
put anything on social media.
Yes,
Do you
ma'am.
understand that? You can't send her any messages.
Yes, ma'am.
You can't go, and whatever the injunction says, my guess is 1,000 feet or 500 feet from the home. I don't know. I can look it up. Do you know what it says?
I believe it's 500 feet from the home, places she frequents, as well as a vehicle that's listed.
Okay, so it seems like you do understand. You cannot go to any of those places,
Yes, ma'am.
right?
Am I still allowed to return with law enforcement one time?
Have you gone back one time with law enforcement?
I have, but I have not had access to my home yet.
So you went back with law enforcement and you were not able to get anything?
No, ma'am, I have not gotten any of my belongings.
Does the injunction allow you to do that?
I'm not sure.
Mr. Mason, have you seen the injunction?
Your Honor, I have not seen the injunction yet. And as for the law enforcement, I know that's what we were talking about. As he tried to go back, but they hadn't been able to arrange a time that she was home, and law enforcement was unsure whether or not they could let him in the house without her there.
Your Honor, I do have one thing to add.
Yes. Hold on one second. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
When his mom contacted me saying he just called me to call you, that was a separate message than I need to come get the cat. So I don't know what she was trying to contact me for and what message he was trying to send me.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand what you said.
The text message where Rory's mom was saying, I need to contact you because he just called me to call you, that doesn't mean she was calling for the cat. I don't know why she was calling. It could be for anything. The cat thing, that was a separate text message. So I'm still worried about what their intentions were with that phone call and what they were trying to tell me.
So, Mr. Mason, I don't have the benefit of the text messages, and I know what you have on your phone, but I don't know if that's what's provided to the.
I understand that, Your Honor,
Pretrial
but we can go
release.
through testimony that the order, and we read it through this, the order of that is, the order of the text messages are literally in that order of, she asks about the cat. Or she said, one moment, Your Honor, I just want to get in the right thing.
I mean, you're reading from a phone from something that was probably forwarded and screenshotted to you.
It's the copy of the, Your Honor, it is.
It's not proper.
I'd say if I could do it through testimony, through this witness, that the order of the guy is
did
5
that.
minutes apart from each other. And the court heard those messages, that it was, she asked about the cat, and he said, Rory told me to call, Rory. He just called, he asked me to talk to you. It's important. I'm only, and then it says, oops. It says, I need to get crackers ASAP. I certainly would never harm you. And it's literally in that order. It's within the same 10 minutes of texting. We went through that testimony. We could do that, and I could lay a time frame for it, Your Honor.
Right, but I don't have the text messages, and you're reading from a phone.
Understood.
That didn't even come from your phone.
Understood, Your Honor.
So this isn't the really proper way to hear
Understood, Your Honor.
evidence.
But we can put this evidence in again where she can confirm the time frame of those two messages. She's making it sound as if it's different. It's literally within 10 minutes of saying he asked me to call you. Can I get the cat? Those two messages are within 10 minutes of each other.
Right, but she's saying that there's other text messages.
I don't know if she said that. If she is saying that, that's a
what
different
she
story.
said. She just said that there were other text messages.
That's the last message
I don't have
texted
the
her.
benefit of those text messages. I understand what you're trying to portray to me, but I don't have the benefit of those text messages. If
May I make another inquiry?
if you want me to call this the second session, I can try and get what is attached to this warrant.
Your Honor, I make just an inquiry of this witness, Your Honor.
Of course, you can ask any questions that you want.
I object as asked and answered.
Well, we don't even know what he's going to ask, Ms. Fusco.
Well, he said he's going to inquire again as to the text messages, and I think we need
he
to.
wants to clarify, so I'm going to let him ask the question. I'm more confused now because I don't have the benefit of what's attached to the warrant. Do you understand my position?
I understand, Your Honor, but whether or not this attached to the warrant, the question is, this court was...
That's the best evidence.
I understand that, Your Honor, but the evidence can still be brought before this court.
Right, but that is not evidence.
But we can talk about the time frame
Right.
through the witness testimony.
I understand.
And I
She's
didn't
in-
put this even as evidence, Your Honor. I put it in as refresh recollection, just so the court, she has a fair chance to know what she's talking about.
Right, and she said, after you showed her that there were other text messages. That's what I heard. So I don't know if that's exactly what she said, but she said There were other text messages. That's not just what the text messages were.
Well, there's,
Is that?
if I may.
Can I explain?
Is that what I understood your testimony to be?
What he's trying to say is that he told me to call you and I need to get crackers was in the same text message. It was not in the same text message. He told me to call you was in one text message, and then maybe a few minutes later that was in another one, but we don't know that that's why he was trying to get a hold of me. And I'm afraid that it was something else because him and his family have threatened me before.
But at any other point, did she contact you for any other reason other than the cat?
She didn't explain why she was trying to contact me. She just said on a side note, I need to get him. But she didn't say, oh, Rory told me that I need to go get him. All I heard from her was that Rory told me to call you.
Your Honor, and to the point that I was making, Your Honor, it was, she had said, Rory said, to call you, and then within moments said, I want to get the cat. I understand it could have been for any number of purposes, but again, she explained moments later it was about the cat and has never had contact with her again. And that was that. And the defendant himself has never had contact. There's an injunction in place that gives the benefit of the protection. We can't indefinitely someone in jail because the mom called about a cat.
Is that it? Okay. We found the text messages because they're not attached anymore. Okay. So now we have the benefit of what was attached.
Thank you, Your Honor. And I also don't know all the times.
Okay. I don't know if you two want to come up and look at the text messages, but this is what was attached to the warrant.
So, Your Honor, again, arguments are 2 minutes later. All right.
Well, I understand that, but it's right after that she asked for the cat. And then she says before, he doesn't want me to talk to you. He can't go back there. He's lost his keys. Well,
and asked me to talk to you. It's important, and there's a oops that we don't know what that refers to, and it's a separate message about the cat. So we don't know what, if the call would have happened, what that was in regard to. And she's also saying that she had been threatened previously. So I think the call gave her reason to be concerned that she'd been threatened previously.
Well, now that I have it in context and what I look at it, Ms. Hudson, I am going to give him a bond.
Okay.
You have an injunction in place. And I think that I've explained the no contact sufficiently so that he understands.
Okay.
So, Mr. Rittmeyer, you've heard everything that we've said. Do you understand? If I see you again and you come back here and you violated, I don't care if you're anybody in your family or any of your friends or you, just say hello. If you give her, you can't even give her $1 million if you win the lottery. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am. Can I make a brief statement?
I would not.
No.
Okay.
No. So, you're going to abide by the injunction in 2020 DR 5502-0. No weapons or firearms or any ammunition. No contact directly or indirectly with the victim. You're not to return to her residence within 500 feet. Her automobile. Any
Yes, ma'am.
place of employment.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And if you need to return back to get any personal belongings, you have to be with law enforcement. You'll have to arrange that ahead of time. Don't go over there, wait for them. You need to call them, wait for them to get in touch with you. They'll tell you where to go, where to meet them, and then you can go over to the house. as
Yes,
long as
ma'am.
they've coordinated it with her.
Absolutely understood.
100%.
100%.
Right. So I'm not going to revoke the pretrial release on the other case. You're going to continue to abide by the pretrial release.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Report as, how often is he reporting currently?
Every 2 weeks.
Bi-weekly? Every 2 weeks? You're going to report weekly?
Okay.
Are they reporting in person? Okay. You're reporting by telephone?
Yes,
Once
ma'am.
a week? Now, that's changing.
Okay.
And your bond will be set at $2,500? All right, Mr. Mason?
Nothing further, Your Honor. The only thing was just to clarify was that he had the one-time return with the law enforcement.
I did give it to him, and I explained what he needs to do.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Hudson. Thank you. I'm putting bond on the pretrial release.
So bond plus PTR.
Yeah, bond plus PTR.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Is the interpreter still on the line? Okay. If I had known that was going to take. Sorry. No, he's staying on PTR, but I'll take it revokes it. So we'll do the bond on count one, and then PTR on everything else. Bond and PTR. Good morning. This is Judge Wish. Is this the interpreter? Are you still on the line?
Yes, I'm on the line.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so sorry. We had a little hiccup here. So, can you state your name for me and your ID number, please?
My name is Ruth, R-U-T-H. ID number is 260778.
Have you been sworn in?
Yes, the lady just did that when she called.
Okay, thank you so much. I have a gentleman before me. Last name is Moises, I believe. Could you please introduce yourself to him so that I know he understands you?
OK. Alors, bonjour. Non, moi, c'est Ruth. Moi, là, m'interpréter pour un créole. Après, c'est qu'à contrôler pour formation, soit qualité assurance, raison. Pour interpréter tout ça, il dit là, pour être confidentiel. Comment je dis, hein?
Bien.
Yeah. You understand?
Okay. Can you state your name, sir?
Jean
Quand
Moises.
non, monsieur.
So you have to wait for her to translate, and then you can answer the question.
OK.
Pourtant, moi, fini pour répondre à une question. Hein?
Oui.
Tell me your name, sir.
Jean Holmes
Dis-moi, s'il vous
Moses.
plaît.
Jean Holmes Moses.
Moses?
Ma'am, the voice coming out a little bit breaking out. I heard him say Jean. Vous pouvez dire non encore?
Jean Moses.
Jean Moses.
All right, sir, you're here in 2020 CT 3735.
Ou la jodi an, nan ka 2020, c'était 37-35.
You're charged with driving with an expired driver's license over 4 months.
Yeah.
Et yo charge ou parce que vous avez conduit avec une licence qui est expirée pour plus que 4 mois.
I find probable cause for that offense.
Et moi, je viens ou gen faute pour ça.
I'll appoint the public defender to represent you.
Et ou ka pour avocat pour représenter ou.
You're also here in 2020 MM 4231.
Ou la nan ka 2020, MM
4231.
42-21.
You're arrested for resisting an officer without violence.
Yo te arrêté ou te résisté officier mais ou pas de violence sur lui.
Non.
And I find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender.
Et moi, j'ai une cause pour ça, ou qu'à pour avocat pour ça, tout souffler.
Oui.
All right, we're not going to resolve the case today because we have no plea form in Creole and there's nobody here to explain to him all of these things.
Nous pas résoudre cas, je dis, non? Parce que pas grand monde qui là, qui parle créole, qui te explique exactement tout bagaille qui est dans le cas là. Nous pas résoudre cas, je dis.
Mr. Moyes, I'm going to, does he qualify for pretrial release? Okay. All right, I'm going to release you on your own recognizance, Mr. Moyes. You need to make sure that everybody knows your address.
Moi, vais la guerre sous conscience. Bien sûr que tout le monde connaît l'adresse.
Oui.
Is it at Ravenwood Avenue?
Yeah.
Vous êtes dans Ravenwood Avenue?
Oui.
Yes.
Okay. You need to make sure you show up to any court date that you have to be at. No driving without a valid driver's license.
Et vous besoin de venir dans le tribunal, dans chaque là, vous pour venir. Et puis, vous pas le droit de conduire tout le temps, vous pas de licence.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Thank you, Madam Interpreter, for your
Thank you,
patience. I truly appreciate it.
You're welcome, Honor. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you for the service. Have a wonderful day. Thank
Good
you.
day. All right. Good morning. Tell me your name, please.
Dante Chance.
All right, Mr. Chance, you're here in a couple of cases. 2020 CT 3492AO and 2020 CT 3491AO. Looks like the public defender was previously appointed in your cases, and you're charged with driving while license revoked with knowledge.
They're companion cases, Your Honor.
Right, I'm trying to figure out why it's 2 citations for the same offense on the same day. Do we know why that is? Okay, I see. One is alleged to have occurred on May 24th, and one is alleged to have occurred on June 3rd. In the same affidavit, looks like. I don't have a driving record for Mr. Chance.
This should be in the last
Are you on probation, Mr. Chance?
No, ma'am.
No? Okay. And so your last driving while license suspended was in 2012. And it looks like you had one in 2006. And are you interested in resolving your cases today? Are there any other, is there a related felony case? It looks like there were some drugs
there are.
located. Okay. Well, somebody could have told me that.
I did at the beginning. I guess it didn't.
No, you said companion.
I'm sorry.
So I thought that was because of the 2. So there's a related felony. Ms. Fowler, do you want to enter pleas of not guilty?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Pretrial date will be in Division 61, June 29th at 8:30 in Courtroom 6C.
All right, good morning. Tell me your name, please.
Good morning, Jason Blair Craig.
All right, Mr. Craig, you're here in 2020 MM 3478AO. You were charged by information with possession of drug paraphernalia. It was alleged to have occurred on May 13th, 2020. Are you on probation?
I am in Brevard County, ma'am.
Okay. Ms. Fowler, do you want to enter a plea of not guilty?
Yes, Your Honor.
Your pretrial date would be in Division 61, June 29th at 8:30 in courtroom 6C.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, okay.
All right, good morning. Tell me your name, please.
Summer Durden.
All right, Ms. Durden, you're here in 2019 MM 9969AO. And the Office of the Public Defender was previously appointed in your case. Looks like this was originally a notice to appear, and then there was a failure to appear. She had 2 days. Then there's a violation of pretrial release, and that was a six days she's been in. So total of 10 days, I believe. Or no, 8, sorry. 8 days credit for time served. Are you on probation, Ms. Durden?
I was on PTR. No, ma'am, I'm not on probation.
PTI?
PTR. I was on
Okay.
PTR.
All right, was there an offer? Is there any other related felony case?
No, ma'am.
She's had a subsequent offense, just Your Honor. The offer was adjudication of guilt, 15 days with 8 days credit time served. Court cost $128.16, cost of investigation to Orlando PD. The merchandise was recovered.
And will the state make that a credit time served offer? She has a light criminal history with only one failure to appear. 0 felonies, 0 misdemeanors.
What did she pick up?
Another petty theft.
She got rejected from pretrial diversion. I'm sorry?
She's in on the bond endorsement as well, but it has bonds on it.
Do we know what it's for?
Petty theft and drug paraphernalia. You want a case copy?
Yeah.
2020 NN 003630.
Yeah, I just don't even know if I could do time served.
It's an overtime list that's up here.
All right. So, Ms. Fusco, did you hear Ms. Fowler's request?
I guess bring it down to 10 days, Your Honor, related to the close in time subsequent offense.
Your Honor, she will accept the 10 days.
Okay. And then did you explain to her the enhanceable offense of theft?
Yes, Your Honor, I did.
Okay. So you understand, Ms. Durden?
Yes,
You
ma'am.
pleaded this. I don't know what your other criminal history is. I don't have it in front of me. You get 2. The next one's a felony.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did you read the plea form before you came in the courtroom?
Yes, I did.
Did you understand everything contained within the plea form?
Yes, Your Honor.
You understand all the rights you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes.
Are you on probation anywhere?
No.
All right, you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you did understand the enhanceable offense of theft.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I do find a factual basis to accept your plea based on the affidavit in the court file. I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 10 days with credit for 8 days time served. There's a cost of investigation to the Orlando Police Department in the amount of $128.16. I'm ordering that you pay that and your court costs by June 11th, 2021. If you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. I don't know what's going on with the other case. Make sure you don't miss any court dates if you have court in that other case, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck. Good morning. Tell me your name, please.
Daquan Walker.
All right, Mr. Walker, you're hearing 2020 MM 2754AO. PD was previously appointed. The state filed an information charging you with criminal mischief. It's a misdemeanor of the second degree alleged to have occurred on or about April 13th, 2020. And I don't know if the state will have an offer for you today. It's a victim case, but he's been in for 56 days, so I don't know why if the victim hasn't been contacted.
They have been trying to contact, but the information is no longer valid. So I contacted the ASA, who apparently had already been in negotiation, and he had agreed to a credit time served offer of adjudication of guilt, 56 days with 56 credit time served. And we do ask to reserve restitution so we can make further attempts to contact the victim. There's a cost of investigation of $100.33 to Orlando PD, and then court costs.
133.
$100.33.
Okay.
And
100. Okay. Okay. All right, Mr. Walker, did you hear that? Are you on probation anywhere?
No.
Okay. Ms. Fowler, did you already speak with him about the offer?
Yes, Your Honor, but may I have a brief moment? He has another question.
we were contacted, Your Honor, to ask if he could be arraigned on, I think he's been here for a while, also in a DV case.
You'll have to set it for an arraignment with the clerk.
Okay.
Sorry.
Your Honor, he would like to take the offer.
Okay, so Mr. Walker, I'm going to order also that you have no contact with the victim, okay? And I'm going to order and reserve restitution for 60 days. That means that the state will have to provide the public defender's office with the information as to any restitution, and then either you'll agree to it or a hearing will be set on that issue, okay? Did you read the plea form before you came in the courtroom?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand everything contained on that plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand all the rights you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
And you indicated that you're not on probation, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And also, I just want to place on the record that obviously the state has not been able to contact the victim, but they've made this offer despite that. So I do find a factual basis to accept your plea based on that information in the court file. I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 56 days with credit for 56 days time served, order no contact with any victim in the case, order and reserve restitution for 60 days for the state to provide the public defender's office with that information. There's a cost of investigation to the Orlando Police Department in the amount of $100.33. I'm going to order that you pay your court costs and fees by June 11th, 2021. If you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you, sir. Good luck. All right. I have some 33-day motions. Is everybody ready on those?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, I've got 2020 MM 2443AO Manuel de Jesus Osorio Arzate.
Yes, Your Honor. Today, an information was filed, filing ID 108701991.
That was today.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. All right, that will be denied. Was that copy of that provided, or is that scanned?
I had the filing ID.
Okay. 2020 CF 4963AO Keith Andre Thomas Harris.
Yes, Your Honor. On June 10th, a no information notice was filed.
All right, that will be granted. 2020 CF 5698 Dennis Javon Miller.
Yes, Your Honor. On June 10th, an information was filed, filing ID 108691848.
All right, that will be denied. 2020 CF 5697A. No, I was just thinking, and I was wondering that if anyone ever asks why the Pacheco, this thing needs to be on mute. I'm sorry. Tate, Miss Irwin Tate.
It should be Brent Bauman.
Okay, I had Tate first. So, Mr. Bauman.
Yes.
Okay, is mental health. All right, was there an offer? It's 2020 MM 4227AO. I don't know if there was an offer.
I was going to offer adjudication of guilt of 3 days with credit time served, court costs, and no return to the scene.
Did you hear that, Miss Manikia?
I do, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm going to appoint your office. I'm going to reset this for tomorrow. We'll see if Mr. Bauman wants to come or can come to court tomorrow. If not, we'll deal with it then, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so we'll just reset it for tomorrow. Huh? Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right, good afternoon. Tell me your name, please.
Nicolas Caldwell.
All right, Mr. Caldwell, you're here in 2020 MM 4229AO. It's a trespass on property after warning. I do find probable cause for that offense. And I don't have a form for the public defender. So, Ms. Fusco, did you have an offer to resolve the case?
Yes, Your Honor. Adjudication of guilt, 2 days with credit time served, court costs, no return to the scene of the trespass.
Is this the correct face sheet? Do we know? It says...
It is, Your Honor.
Okay, so he has no criminal history whatsoever. Mr. Caldwell, I don't want to mess that up for you today.
Thank you.
So I'm gonna really. Do you live in Orlando?
In St. Cloud.
You live in New York. I have a New York address.
Yeah, I just moved to St. Cloud, Florida. I didn't change my ID over yet, man.
Okay, you need to do that as soon as possible, just to protect yourself. How are you gonna get to court?
I have somebody Uber, a Lyft, somebody will bring me.
Okay, you'll be able to get to court.
Yes.
Because they're going to release you and give you a court date. And do you want me to appoint the public defender to represent you?
Sure.
Okay. Do you work at all?
Off the books as a day laborer.
Oh, I have a form. I have a form. Sorry, I didn't see one. Okay. So I am going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you. That way, you have an attorney. Make sure that they have a way to get in touch with you and that everybody has your address. Because the address that they have on file right now is the New York address.
Right.
Okay? Because they may send you notice if you miss court, you're going to get a warrant. That's not fun,
No,
right?
it's not.
Okay, so I'm going to ROR you.
Thank you.
Don't go back to the Greyhound bus station. Do you
All
have
right.
any belongings there?
No, ma'am.
Okay, abide by any trespass warning, okay?
All right. So how long before we do that?
All right, good afternoon. Tell me your name.
Marcia Hagler.
All right, Miss Hagler, you're here in 2020 MM 421580. It's a petty theft. I do find probable cause for that offense, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Does the state have an offer today?
No, Your Honor, it looks like she has some related history.
Okay, so based on the enhanceable offense of theft?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so Ms. Hagler, the state's not making an offer today. It looks like they may upgrade it to a felony based on your prior history. I'm not sure, but do you live here?
Yes, ma'am.
Where are you living?
I'm with my mom in a koi.
In a Coe? How long have you lived there?
About 3 years.
3 years? Okay.
Your Honor, would the court consider ROR?
Yeah, I'm trying to establish some community ties here because based on the face sheet, it says that her time at residence was 1 week or less. She's not employed. And then they were unable to verify any community ties, that she provided conflicting responses to questions, and said she doesn't know where she stayed last night and was unable to provide her current place of residence. So I'm trying to establish. So if you want to take some testimony to give me an idea of where I've heard she's living with her mom and for the past 3 years.
Your Honor, Ms. Hagler told me that she resides with her mother in Ocoee for the past 3 years, and
Okay, does she have an address? We're going to need that.
what's your address,
Because
Ms.
I don't
Hagler?
have any, I don't have, the only address that I have is in Orlando and it's on the north, it's North Lane.
All right.
Okay, can you provide your address?
Yes, 734 Sherwood Terrace Drive.
You'll have to write that down, or have the PD write it down because I don't understand what she said.
734 Sherwood Terrace. Sherwood. Terrace. Drive. Orlando, Florida. 681.
All right, Ms. Hagler, that's the address that they can send information to you to go to court, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. No return back to the Home Depot at 7022 West Colonial Drive. No contact with any victims or witnesses. And I'm going to release you on your own recognizance. Don't miss court. If you miss court, you're probably going to get a warrant, and it's not going to be a good day, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right, good afternoon. Tell me your name.
Hi, I'm Denitria Martin.
I don't know what's going on with the microphone. Can they pull the microphone a little closer to them because
Can you hear
they're
me?
not.
I know. My name is Denitria Martin.
Okay, thank you, Miss Martin. You're here in 2020 MM 4232AO, and you are arrested for obstructing or opposing a police officer. We do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. She has no convictions, no Florida convictions, no out-of-state convictions. Is this her complete criminal history? Has anything been updated?
It's been updated, Your Honor.
It was updated?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, do we have a
She don't have any voting history, just out of state.
What's the out of state?
It's at the bottom, the arrest, obstructing, burglary.
But not any conviction?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Ms. Martin, I don't know if the state will have an offer today or if you would want to resolve your case, but there are probably other options for you in terms of if the state did file an information. Pretrial diversion is an offer that may be extended to you. So did you have an offer, Ms. Fusco?
I wanted to clarify with law enforcement is there seems to be a physical altercation, not just resisting, and so.
Well, I think that they only charged her with
opposing.
It says or opposing.
Yeah, I mean, it appeared to be some sort of a domestic incident, and the other person, she was, I believe, the alleged victim in the domestic violence incident. So, if Ms. Fusco doesn't, I don't want you to mess up your criminal history today, Ms. Martin, okay?
Right.
So, are you living locally in Orlando?
I was staying at the hotel. It was only until Saturday, and then for Saturday, I was supposed to go back to Baltimore.
You're going back to Baltimore?
Yes.
Okay. All right. You need to make sure that the public defender has your correct address and the clerk's office has your correct address, okay? So that you'll get your mail. And I'm going to release you on your own recognizance.
All right, thank you.
That means that you need to show up to court when you have a court date.
Right.
If you need to talk to the PD and let them know where you are, okay?
Yes.
No conditions.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, tell me your name.
Alisa McClellan.
All right, Ms. McClellan. You're here in 2020 MM 271AA. It's petty theft and false ID to law enforcement, or resisting an officer without violence, and then a second count of false ID to law enforcement. So there is probable cause based on the affidavit for all of those offenses, and I'll appoint the public defender. Ms. Fusco, did you have an offer to resolve the case?
She does have a prior PT conviction, so we would wait. It's enhanceable.
Okay. Does she qualify for a pretrial release?
She didn't qualify at the time of her interview. She also has a hold for Polk County with a bond of $4,000.
Okay. Do we know what that's for?
It's for FTA for fraud and felony petty theft.
Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do is order that you're not to return back to the location of where the offense is alleged to have occurred. No contact with any victim or witness. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. And the bond on count 1 is $500. Count 2, 100. Count 3, 100. Count 4, 100.
So what did she say?
Good afternoon. Tell me your name, please.
Samuel Rodriguez Medina, ma'am.
Do we know what happened to Glenda Pravat?
Downtown Courtyard.
Okay, we'll reset Miss Pravat for tomorrow. And you said Medina Rodriguez Medina?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, so you're here in 2020 MM 4228AO. It's a petty theft. We do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. Ms. Fusco, did you have an offer?
He also has a prior conviction, Your Honor, enhanceable.
Okay. So, all right, Mr. Rodriguez Medina, you're not to return back to Home Depot. at 350 North Alafaya Trail. No contact with any victims or witnesses in the case. The bond will stay at $250.
Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon. Tell me your name, please.
Erwin Tate.
Okay, Mr. Tate, you're here in 2019 MM9591AO, and you failed to appear for pretrial conference on February 4th, 2020. The judge did revoke your release, set your bond at $2,000. Are you interested in maybe resolving your case today, or did you want to post your bond?
Yes, I'm interested if we can resolve it.
I can't hear anything that you're saying.
If we can resolve it, I'm interested in resolving it.
Okay, Miss Fusco, did you have an offer? Doesn't have much of a criminal history. Do we know how much credit for time that he has? 14? I think that would be inappropriate for possession of drug paraphernalia.
So adjudication of guilt, 14 days with 14 days credit time served, court costs.
All right. Do you want to do that, Mr. Tate?
Yes, ma'am.
So credit for time served offer, you've got 14 days total that you've served on the case.
That's fine.
Okay. Did you see a plea form before you came in the courtroom? Did they give you one?
Yes, ma'am. I have it
Okay.
right here.
Did you read it and understand everything that was on it?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Are you on probation anywhere?
No.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I do find a factual basis to accept your plea based on that affidavit in the court file. I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 14 days with credit for 14 days time served. Order you pay your court costs by June 11th, 2021. If you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. Good luck, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, or afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
All right, tell me your name.
Edwin Alvarez.
All right, Mr. Alvarez, you're here in 2020 CF 7210AO. You were arrested for possession of methamphetamine, possession of cocaine, possession of cannabis less than 20 grams, and possession of drug paraphernalia. I do find probable cause, and I will appoint the public defender to represent you. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription.
Yes, Your Honor.
The bond will stay at $1,000 and $150. I'm going to ROR on count 3, and count 4 will stay at $100. All right, thank you, sir.
Is there any way we could resolve this case now?
No, it's a felony, and I can't resolve it without an information being filed.
All right, thank you.
Good afternoon. Tell me your name, please.
Rachelita Brown.
All right, Ms. Brown, you're here in 2020 CF 7211AO. You're arrested for possession of MDMA and possession of drug paraphernalia. And I find probable cause for those offenses in 2020 MO 697. It's being in a park after it's been closed. And so I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the PD in both of those cases for you. Right? Do you live locally, Miss Brown?
Yes.
Sorry?
Yes. I don't stay.
Okay, where do you live?
Where
do you live?
On Bentley Street.
Bentley Street? Where is that?
I don't know the full address because I just moved there.
When did you move there?
I just moved there like two weeks ago with my cousin.
Okay, and then where did you live before that?
In a hotel.
Here in Orlando?
Yes, ma'am.
How long have you been in Orlando?
I was born and raised here.
Okay. Do you work?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Now, if I release you on your own recognizance, you understand you have to show back up to court.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, if you miss court, you're going to get a warrant, maybe at no bond. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So make sure that you get in touch with the public defender within 24 hours of your release so that they know how to get in touch with you, because the address that we don't have an address on file, and if you don't know the address, you need to get them that address so that they can also update the clerk's office with your address, okay?
Okay.
No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription.
Yes, ma'am.
Good luck. ROR. Good afternoon. Tell me your name.
Torrin Burke.
All right, you're here in 2018 CF 17098, and it's a failure to appear for pretrial conference on May 15th, 2019. And the judge in the case did revoke your release and set your bond at none. Does she not have? She fills out a form for the PD. Does she not have the PD? She has the PD already. Okay, you already have the public defender in the case. And they're going to have to file a motion to set bond for you in Division 22 with that judge, okay? All right, thank you.
Your Honor, Christopher Cooper would not be coming due to behavior.
All right. All right, I'm going to appoint the public defender. Ms. Manicki, do you want to waive?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, 2020 CF 7216AO. It's a grand theft, third degree of a motor vehicle. I do find probable cause. I did appoint the PD. No contact with any victim or witness, and no return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred. I'm not going to revoke the release on the other case. I am setting the bond at $2,500. Good afternoon. Tell me your name, please.
Charles Favors.
Mr. Favors, you're here in 2020 CF 7173AO. It's tampering with physical evidence, possession of cocaine, and resisting an officer without violence. I'm going to appoint the public defender. I find probable cause for counts 2 and 3. I do not find probable cause for count 1, merely just throwing something on the ground, which is easily identifiable by law enforcement. In this case, it was. Then it's not tampering. All right.
If we could let the other two go forward in ROR as to that count, Your Honor.
All right, the state's not requesting any additional time. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. ROR on count 1. Count 2 will be 1,000. Count 3 is 100. And if I didn't say it, no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. Good afternoon. Tell me your name, please.
Justin Philia.
All right, Mr. Philia, you're here in 2020 CF 7174AO. You were arrested for grand theft, third degree of a motor vehicle, and fraudulent use of personal identification information. And I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender. No contact with any victim in the case. And the bonds will stay set at $2,000 on each count. Thank you, sir.
Your Honor, the next person on the docket, Cal Fisher, medical.
Okay, I'm gonna appoint the public defender. Ms. Manikia, do you want to formally waive?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, it's charged in 2020 CF 7189 with grand theft, third degree of a motor vehicle pursuant to a warrant. Probable cause was already found. No contact with any victims or witnesses. No return to where the offense is alleged to have occurred. and the bond will stay at $1,000. If he's able to be interviewed and he does qualify for pretrial release, I'll have no objection to that as well, but it doesn't look like he's been interviewed.
He wasn't interviewed due to his medical.
Okay. Well, I'll do or PTR, so he's able to be interviewed at any point before he posts bond. All right, good afternoon. Tell me your name, please.
Terrell Golding.
Sorry, sir?
Terrell Golding.
All right, Mr. Golding. It's really hard to hear them. All right, Mr. Golding, you're here in 2020 CF. No, that's not working. Just don't know if there's a way to make the volume louder over there. It's just hard to hear you all. It wasn't hard this morning, so. All right, you're here in 2020 CF 7209AO. You're arrested for possession of MDMA, and I do find probable cause in 2020 MO 698. It's being in the park after it's closed, and I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the PD in both the cases to represent you. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. The bond will stay at $1,000 on the felony, $250 on the misdemeanor. I'm not taking any action on the out on release cases. Do you, Mr. Golding, you don't have an attorney on the possession of a controlled substance case, but you do have Mr. Blanco on the other case. Do you know if he's intending to represent you on the possession?
I'm not sure.
Okay, do you want me to appoint the PD on that case for you so you have an attorney?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So I'll appoint the PD in 2020 CF 579AO. Looks like both cases were filed on, so you may have some upcoming court dates. Make sure you do not miss any court dates. Get in touch with the public defender, okay?
Okay.
Good afternoon. Tell me your name, please.
Abbi Hankins.
All right, Ms. Hankins, you're here in 2020 CF 7172AO. It's providing false ID to law enforcement and fraudulent use of personal identification information of another. And I do find probable cause. I don't have a form for the public defender. Oh, maybe I do. I do. And so I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You're living in Texas?
Yeah, that's where my parents live. I'm gonna go back there.
Are you on probation in Colorado?
I was told we were trying to work with law enforcement, and I was told by an agent, Austin, last night when we were arrested that the out-of-state stuff was going to be taken care of, that I would get out on misdemeanor and I could go home to Texas. So that's all I know about that. I want to plead the bench on these charges that
Well, this is a felony, so you cannot plead today. Okay.
She has a hold for Colorado at this time.
She what?
Has a hold for Colorado
There's
at
a
this
hold.
time.
Okay, there is a hold for Colorado. It appears as though
I know
they placed a hold on you in Colorado. So the PD was appointed. You'll be able to talk to them about that. Maybe they can help you with that. No contact with any victim in the case. I am gonna stay the bond at $200 and $2,000. All right, thank you. All right, good afternoon, sir. Tell me your name, please.
Mario Deshay Hillman.
All right, Mr. Hillman, you're here in 2020 CF 6814. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant. Probable cause was found for sale and delivery of cocaine within 1,000 feet of a community center, and possession of cocaine. And I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. So no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. The bonds will stay at $5,250 and $250. You're on pretrial release for possession of cocaine currently.
The case was no info yesterday.
Oh, okay. So that case was no infoed yesterday. The state decided not to file charges on that. I wasn't going to take any action on it, but make sure that you don't miss any court, in the, for this new case, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good afternoon. Tell me your name.
Claire Lisa James.
All right, Miss James, you're here in 2020 CF 7215AO. It's possession of alprazolam and possession of cannabis less than 20 grams. I do find probable cause for those offenses, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. So no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. I'm going to stay the bond at $1,000 and $100. I'm not going to revoke the release on the other case. Looks like you do have an upcoming court date, and you have the public defender.
Yes.
So make sure you don't miss any court dates, and you keep in touch with your attorney. If you get arrested again and you have 2 out on release cases, and you come back, it's probably not going to be a very good day for you.
Right. I have one question.
Okay.
No facts on the case. Just that the court dates that's coming up is still, the courthouse is closed, right?
No, the courthouse is no longer closed. So you'll have to get in touch with Mr. Edelman. I think that's who represents you.
Yeah, Jared Alderman. Okay.
Adelman, and then find out where you need to go if you need to go somewhere. If you don't need to go to court and it's been continued, or there's some other way that you're needing to appear, you need to make sure that you know how to do that.
Okay. Thank
Okay?
you.
The next person on the docket, Your Honor, is Damian Jones, refused.
All right, I'm going to reset Mr. Jones for tomorrow. All right, good afternoon. Tell me your name.
Wesley Linton.
All right, Mr. Linton, you're here in 2020 CF 6831AO. You're arrested pursuant to a warrant. Probable cause was found for sale and delivery of a controlled substance. And I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you in your case. Was he qualified at all for pretrial release?
He came in on the warrant. We did not interview him. We're not
Okay.
interviewing warrants at this
So, Mr. Linton, no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. I'll stay the bond or pretrial release if they interview you and you're able to get qualified, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon. Tell me your name.
Thomas May.
Mr. Mayor, here in 2017 CF 11262AO. You're arrested pursuant to a warrant. Probable cause was found for fleeing and attempting to elude a law enforcement officer. And do we have a PD form for Mr. May? No? Okay. Did you fill out a public defender affidavit?
I plan on hiring an attorney, probably lawyer.
You hired an attorney?
Nah, not yet.
Oh, are you planning on doing that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you do not want the public defender?
No, ma'am.
Okay. He has a DOC detainer, correct?
It's going to be released on the 18th.
Okay. And then he would just be held on this case?
Yes, sir.
Or whatever bond? Okay. So it looks like your hold for DOC will be released on the 18th. That's probably when you finish your sentence.
Yes, ma'am.
Your bond is going to be set at $5,000. Mr. May, do you want me to set you for a determination of counsel hearing in a couple days to make sure that you have an attorney? I just don't know. Will you be able to post that bond when you're
Yes, ma'am.
released, when your DOC detainer's released?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you want me to set you for a DOC hearing or you don't? Determination of counsel.
No, ma'am.
Okay. I will not do that then. Thank you, sir. All right, good afternoon. Tell me your name.
Douglas Scott
Is your last name Mull? Okay.
M-U-L-L, yes.
All right, Mr. Mull, you're here in 2020 CF 6975. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant. Probable cause was found for failing to update your driver's license as a sexual offender. And I'll appoint the public defender's office. You do have reporting requirements. You need to comply with those even if you're at the jail, okay? And so your bond is set at $2,500.
But I don't understand exactly what you just said.
So you have reporting requirements. That's why you got arrested, because they've alleged that you did not report.
I did report and I
Right,
made
but
it.
you have certain reporting requirements. So if you're unable to bond out of the jail, you need to let the Department of Motor Vehicles and the Sheriff's Office know of any updated address. If you don't understand, the public defender is representing you. They can advise you of any legal requirements that you have.
I did update my address with the sheriff's office. I went down there and did that immediately when I moved. And they told me to show the sheriff the paperwork.
I would not
Yeah.
talk about the facts of the case, okay? But this has to do with your driver's license being updated with the Department of Highway and Safety in Motor Vehicles, not the sheriff's office.
But I had to make an appointment with them, which I
Ms.
did.
Manicure, you may want to tell your client not to keep talking.
Yes, I know that. Okay. So,
All right, good afternoon, ma'am. Tell me your name, please.
Angel Pacheco.
All right, Ms. Pacheco, you're here in 2020 CF 7204AO. It's a battery on a person 65 years of age or older, and I find probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Also 2020 CF 7205AO. It's battery on a person 65 years of age or older, and I do find probable cause for that offense as well, and appoint the public defender. So no contact with any victim in the case, no weapons or firearms or any ammunition. It looks as though you all have the same address, so I'm ordering that you maintain a separate residence from the victims. If you need to return back to the residence because the victims are there, I'll get you a one-time return with law enforcement to go get any belongings that you may need to get. Any dispute over the residence is going to be a civil issue and not related to anything that I can control. I think I said no weapons or firearms or any ammunition. And the bonds will stay at $2,500. All right, good afternoon. Tell me your name.
Monterey is ready, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Redding, you're here in 2020 CF 515780. It's a warrant and probable cause was found for possession of MDMA. And I will appoint the public defender's office to represent you in the case. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. The bond will stay at $1,000. I'm not going to revoke your release. You do have an upcoming court date.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know if you'll need to appear in person or not, but you'll need to find out. Looks like the public defender represents you in that case, so make sure you know what you need to do on that day, okay?
I'm on top of it, Your Honor. Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck.
Thank you.
right, good afternoon. Tell me your name.
Stiles.
All right, Mr. Stiles, you're here in 2019 CF 16569AO. It's a warrant, or excuse me, a capias, and probable cause was previously found for felony battery, great bodily harm, and criminal mischief. The state did file an information alleging those two offenses. Excuse me. I don't have any hand sanitizer. All right, it's a little confusing as to the capias because the capias says no contact with any victim or witness, and then the second box is check no hostile contact. So that's contradictory. So I am ordering no contact. We're going to strike the no hostile or violent contact. It's no contact directly or indirectly with any victim or witness in the case. You understand that, Mr. Stiles?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So no return back to the scene of where the offense is alleged to have occurred, no alcohol or drugs or any controlled substances without a valid prescription, and no weapons or firearms. The bond will stay at $1,500 and $500.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. Oh, sorry.
He has a DOC. I did appoint the PD, yeah. Huh? Yeah, that's the rest of it. Sorry, I was just trying to. I took the information. Sorry. And he has a DOC detainer.
Yes, he has an EOS date of 6/20.
6/20. That's when it gets released.
Yes.
Okay. Looks like your DOC detainer will be released on the 20th.
Right.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
And then Smith bonded.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. I'll take no action on Smith. All right, tell me your name, sir, please. Andre Williams?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. Williams, you're here
Excuse me,
in
excuse me, ma'am.
20...
Can I say one thing?
No, let me talk first, and
Okay.
then we'll see if you need to be able to talk, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So 2020 CF 6976, and you were arrested pursuant to a warrant. Probable cause was previously found for failing to report and re-register as a sexual offender.
Ma'am.
And so I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you. You do have reporting requirements, so you'll need to comply with those. If you have a question, Ms. Manikia would speak with you about it. If she needs to relay anything to me, then she can do that, okay? Before I set the bond, do you want to ask her whatever you want to talk about?
Yes. The judge. Modified my sentence and he gave me time served and released me my probation officer. I wouldn't know that. And they still put me on it and he was trying to get situated. Oh, this is why I got arrested for this. But yes, ma'am. I'm good. Yes, ma'am.
Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Was your question answered?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So you do have reporting requirements. Even if you're at the jail, you still need to comply with those.
Yes, ma'am.
So your bond is set at $5,000.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right. Good afternoon. Tell me your name, ma'am.
Williams.
All right, Ms. Williams, you're here in 2020 CF 7197AO. It's possession of a controlled substance. I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. I'm not going to take any action on the out on release case. You have a court date that's coming up, a couple days for that. I don't know if you need to appear, but Mr. Robert Williams represents you. You need to get in touch with him, find out if you need to be there. And your bond is going to stay at $1,000.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, good afternoon. Tell me your name.
Howard June.
All right, Mr. June, you're here in 2017 CF 13745. They filed an on-view violation of probation based on the prior arrest. So there is a probable cause for the on-view violation of probation. I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you in that case. The bond will stay set at none at this time. You'll see Judge Whitehead in a couple days for your arraignment, and you can address any bond issues or see what's going on with the case at that time, okay?
Okay.
Good afternoon. Tell me your name.
Garrett Lee.
What's going on with the sound? It's very hard to hear you all over there.
Garrett Lee.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Lee, you're here in 2019 CF 8750. They filed an on-view violation of probation based on the new law offense in 2020 CF 720780 for possession of a controlled substance, 3 counts of that, possession of drug paraphernalia. So I find probable cause for both of those cases. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. The violation of probation, the bond will stay set at none at this time. You'll see Judge Whitehead in a couple days for that case. The bond will stay at 1,000 and 150, 150, and 100 on 7207. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Good afternoon. Tell me your name, please.
George Negron.
Okay, do we know what happened to Terrence McKinnon?
He's behavior, Your Honor.
Behavior? Okay. I'm gonna appoint the public defender to represent him.
We'll waive his appearance, Your Honor.
Okay, so violation of probation pursuant to a warrant, 2019 CF 8736AO. And the judge did give him a bond of $1,000. He's a violent felony offender of special concern, so he's not even entitled to a bond. The judge shouldn't have been able to give him a bond, but I'm not going to change that this time. So that bond will stay at 1,000. All right, good afternoon. Tell me your name. Again, Mr. Negron, is it?
Yes.
Okay. Sir, you're here in 2016 CF 905680, and it's a violation of probation pursuant to a warrant. And the judge did set your bond at none in the case. And I don't have a form for the public defender. Were you going to hire your own attorney?
Yes.
Okay. So you'll see Judge Whitehead in a couple days for your arraignment. If you you can address the attorney, whether or not you've hired an attorney by that time, okay, with him.
Thank you.
Okay? All right, good luck. All right, good afternoon. Tell me your name.
Brian F. Redding.
All right, Mr. Redding, you're here in 2019 CF 1046. It's an on-view violation of probation, and there's probable cause for that based on the new law offense in 2020 CF 717780. That's petty theft, 2 prior convictions. And I find probable cause for both, and I'll appoint the public defender.
Your
on
Honor, may I
the,
have a moment with him?
Sure.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Sure. Okay. So on the 7177, no return back to the, I think it's a 711. Yeah, no return back to 711 at 1250 John Young Parkway or any contact with any victim or witness in that case. And that bond will stay at 1,000. The on-view VOP will stay at none at this time. And so you'll see Judge Whitehead on the violation of probation in a couple days.
Your Honor, I'm not sure if you have authority on setting PTR today, since he is on probation, but the defendant wanted me to relay to you that his sister's funeral is this Saturday.
So you're on probation, you won't qualify for pretrial release, and because of the on-view VOP and you're on probation, your attorneys will have to file a bond motion. When will he see Judge Whitehead, do you know? Do you have a date for that one?
Your Honor, he also expressed to me that he has stage 2 cancer, and I guess that he's at higher risk for coronavirus.
Okay, well, that will need to be put in a motion, and you all can file that today.
Okay.
As soon as you leave court. But he's set to see Judge Whitehead on the 15th. You can file the motion today and put all of that in it. I'm sure get the position from the state and then file it with the court. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, please tell me your name.
Sarah Francis.
All right, Miss Francis, you're here in 2019 MM 346. You're arrested pursuant to a warrant for Lake County. It's an out-of-county warrant. The judge did set your bond at none. I'm going to appoint the public defender here to represent you. And so one of the judges here will reach out to the judge in Lake County to see if they'll be able to modify the no bond for you, and you should come back on the docket in a couple days, okay?
Okay, so I just have a couple more days and maybe I'll have a bond.
I can't give you a bond. I have no authority to change the bond from Lake County. So what we're doing is contacting the judges in the other counties, and we'll get you back on the docket. They may or may not modify the no bond. If they say no, then we can't. If they say yes, then we can.
Okay, is that my only option? Like, and then how do I know how long I'll be sitting until I get transported?
I have no idea. I don't control the transportation of individuals.
Okay.
But I appointed the public defender, so if you have questions, you can call their office, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon. Tell me your name.
Anai Gaskin.
All right, Miss Gaskins, you're here on an out-of-county warrant out of Polk County. The judge set your bonds at none on all the counts. And so I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you here. And our court will contact the judge in Polk County and see if they'll modify that. If they won't, then we can't change that, okay?
Okay.
We'll bring you back in a couple days.
All right. Thank you.
All right, good afternoon, sir. Tell me your name, please.
Hello,
State your name.
my name is Handel John Jones.
All right, Mr. Jones, you're here on an out-of-county warrant out of Lee County, and the judge in Lee County did set your bond at none. And so I'm going to appoint the public defender here, and the court here, one of the judges will contact the judge in Lee County to see if they'll modify your bond, and we'll bring you back in a couple days to see if that's the case. If not, then we can't change that, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, anything else?
That's it, Your Honor.
Okay, so we will be in recess, or we're done for the day. We'll be back tomorrow.
Um,
It's an MO, okay. Thank you.
Are you here on that one too, or no? No, okay.
Didn't realize that it was different county, one city.
Thank you.
And I don't even know who handles them.
Well, it's KPD.
Hmm?
I would imagine that would be, yeah, it's KPD. It says KPD.
Okay, well.
Good morning, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Tyrese Campbell, 02/17/01.
Thank you, sir. You're here this morning for an arraignment on a violation of curfew order. Ms. Carr, do you have any information on that?
No, Your Honor. I have Mr. Campbell on 20 MM 1280, which has not been filed yet. I don't have any other information about this violation of curfew in our system.
I'm just wondering why he's been sitting there for 18 days.
Your Honor, if you want, I can try to contact the city attorney's office.
Can you try to contact Ms. Dorn?
Yeah, is there an attorney listed on the docket, or is?
No.
Okay, I'll contact the city.
Okay.
Just give me a minute.
Thank you.
He's in there because MM.
Yeah, he might
Okay,
be
so
in
the
custody
days
on
that you have are for the MM, not necessarily the MO, or?
What happened was he was out on this MO case, but when he picked up the new thing, they revoked whatever. It must have been PTR or whatever.
Yeah, he has a new loitering and prowling and resisting without violence that he was arrested on, but no charges have been filed in that case yet. But I think that's why he's being held.
If you wouldn't mind calling, like if they want me to handle it, I know their normal course for the city violations is like a credit time served. If they want me to do that, I will. I mean, he's not going anywhere because he's in there on the MM case, but.
This was an MO for a curfew violation?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You know, Your Honor, if it helps, he wanted to plead not guilty to this, so.
I don't know that it helps because I don't know that I'm taking an MO to trial. So, Mr. Campbell, I'm going to ask you to go back to the enclosure. We're going to try to get some answers from the city attorney, and I'm going to recall you, okay? Thank you. Put your mask back on. Joyce Garcia?
She has 2 cases.
Did you want us to sign a plea form, Your Honor?
No?
Okay, never mind then, we're good.
Hi, Your Honor.
Good morning. State your name and date of birth, please.
Joyce Garcia, 61092.
Ms. Garcia, you're here for arraignment on 2 matters. The first is trespass on property other than structure or conveyance. That's a first-degree misdemeanor punishable by up to 1 year in jail, 1 year supervised probation, and a $1,000 fine. The second matter is resisting officer without violence, which is also a first-degree misdemeanor, punishable by up to 1 year in jail, 1 year supervised probation, and a $1,000 fine. So, Mr. King, what are we doing with this, being that you just asked me about a plea form?
I just didn't have her sign it. We went over all the things, but we just didn't sign.
So does that mean that she's pleading?
Yes, she would like to plead to these. Is there another open case or another charge?
Yes.
Yes, there's a second open, so the 2 charges are 20 MM 1086, that's the trespass. Then 20 MM 1113, that's the resisting. The offer is AG, credit time served, costs on both. And then on the trespass, there's an additional requirement of no return to the scene.
Yes, we went over that together already. There's not a third charge or case. That's what she was asking me about earlier. An open container maybe or something like that. A county ordinance violation. She's not being held on that.
I don't know, let us look.
Okay, thank you.
No.
It shows she's got a petty theft from 2019. But that's closed. You got anything else? No? We're not showing anything else, Mr. King.
Okay, we went over the terms of accepting the plea.
Ma'am, raise your right hand to be sworn, please.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you shall give to be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. You can lower your hand. Ms. Garcia, did you have the opportunity to review the plea form?
Yes.
Did you understand it?
Yes.
Do you have any questions about it?
No, Your Honor.
Did you have enough time to speak with the attorneys?
Yes.
Are you satisfied with their services?
Yes.
Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol which would impair your ability to understand the terms of the plea in which you're about to enter?
No, Your Honor.
Paragraph 3 sets forth your constitutionally protected rights, including but not limited to your right to a jury trial, your right to a speedy trial. Do you agree to waive those rights in exchange for the court accepting this plea today?
Yes.
If you are not a United States citizen, do you understand that by entering into this plea, it will be cause for deportation?
Yes.
In 20 MM 1086, based upon the court's review of the charging affidavit, I find there's sufficient factual basis to move forward. Ma'am, I'm going to find that you are alert and intelligent, that you're entering into this plea freely and voluntarily, and the court will accept it. The terms of the plea are an adjudication of guilt, 41 days in the Osceola County Jail with credit time served of 41 days, court costs in the amount of $273, and no return to Knights Inn located at 4651 West Earl Bronson Memorial Highway. Ma'am, I'm going to give you 90 days to pay the court costs. If you cannot pay that within the 90 days, then you'll need to go to the clerk's office and set up a payment plan. If you choose the payment plan route, they will charge you a convenience fee, and the first payment will be due that day. It's usually around $50, sometimes less, sometimes more. Do you have any questions regarding that case?
No, Your Honor.
You have 30 days in which to appeal. If you need the services of an attorney, you can apply to the court. If you qualify, one will be appointed to you. Now I'm going to turn to 2020 MM 1113. Based upon the court's review of the charging affidavit, I find there's sufficient factual basis to move forward. Ma'am, I'm going to find that you are alert and intelligent, that you're entering into this plea freely and voluntarily, and the court will accept it. The terms of the plea are an adjudication of guilt, 41 days in the Osceola County Jail with credit time served of 41 days, and court costs in the amount of $273. Again, I'm going to give you 120 days, so an additional 30 to pay that. If you can't get it paid, then you can set up a payment plan through the clerk's office. They will charge a convenience fee, and the first payment will be due that day. Do you have any questions regarding that case?
No, Your Honor.
You have 30 days in which to appeal. If you need the services of an attorney, you can apply to the court. If you qualify, one will be appointed to you. Good luck to you, Ms. Garcia. Have a good day.
Thank you, Your Honor. You too.
Were you able to get anyone?
Yes, I left work, so if you need to, call me back.
Michael Jameson.
Your Honor, Mr. Jameson, for his possession of drug paraphernalia case, read the drug diversion level 1 and signed the thing, just so the state's aware. That's the third case that he has.
You guys are doing it in reading, though?
Yeah, we have a packet so they can do it, so they don't have to have it on their, stick to their record.
I'm aware, Mr. King. I'm asking the state some questions.
Sorry.
Good morning, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Michael Jameson, 4/21/1966.
Mr. Jameson, you're here for a couple of matters today. First, we have arraignment for panhandling, soliciting without a permit, which is a county ordinance violation. Then we have another charge of panhandling, soliciting without a permit, which is also a county ordinance charge. And then, of course, the possession of drug paraphernalia, which is a first-degree misdemeanor punishable by up to 1 year in jail, 1 year supervised probation, and a $1,000 fine. Counsel on behalf of the county.
Okay. I'm Frank Townsend on behalf of the county, and I am here on, usually I'm just here on the solicitation without a permit, but if there's actually a accompanying misdemeanor, then the state actually handles both.
Miss Card.
They all have.
I think you just got it. I think you just got it punted to you.
Great.
I can handle the one charge if the state wants me to, but if there's another misdemeanor, I can't deal with that one.
Well, I think the state's getting ready to dispose of the misdemeanor,
So in case
which will
number,
leave it up to you, Mr. Townsend.
In case number 20MM1325, state announces a null pros.
All right, misdemeanor officially taken care of.
Thank you.
Now we're back to the county attorney.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Townsend.
My offer is time served on the county ordinance violation.
Is that on both of them?
Yes, both would be time served concurrent. I think it's 27 days, I heard.
One of them is 2 days, one of them is 27.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
Mr. King, is that something that you've discussed?
Yes, Your Honor, we talked about that, and he'd like to accept that offer for both the cases.
Mr. Jamison, raise your right hand to be sworn, please.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you shall give to be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, I do.
Thank you, sir. You can lower your hand. Have you had the opportunity to review a plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have enough time to speak with the attorneys about it?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with their services?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol which would impair your ability to understand the terms of the plea in which you're about to enter?
No, ma'am.
Paragraph 3 sets forth your constitutionally protected rights, including but not limited to your right to a jury trial, your right to a speedy trial. Do you agree to waive those rights in exchange for the court accepting this plea today?
Yes, ma'am.
Anyone forcing you to accept the county's offer?
No, ma'am.
If you are not a United States citizen, do you understand that by entering into this plea, it will be cause for deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
Based upon the court's review of the charging affidavit in 2020 CO6, court's going to find that there is sufficient factual basis to move forward. So I'm going to find that you are alert and intelligent, that you're entering into this plea freely and voluntarily, and the court will accept it. The terms of the plea are an adjudication of guilt, 2 days in the Osceola County Jail with credit time served of 2 days, and court costs in the amount of $273. Mr. Jamison, I'm going to give you 120 days to pay that. If you can't get it paid within that amount of time, you'll need to set up a payment plan with the clerk's office before the end of that time. If you do a payment plan, they will charge you a convenience fee to process it, and the first payment will be due the day that you show up to make the payment plan. Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
You have 30 days in which to appeal. If you need the services of an attorney, you can apply to the court. If you qualify, one will be appointed to you. Now I'm going to turn to 2020 CO8. Court has reviewed the charging affidavit. I find there's sufficient factual basis to move forward. I'm going to find that you are alert and intelligent, that you're entering into this plea freely and voluntarily, and the court will accept it. In terms of the plea, an adjudication of guilt, 27 days in the Osceola County Jail with credit time served of 27 days, and court costs in the amount of $273. That will also have the opportunity to pay within 120 days or to set up a payment plan. Do you have any questions regarding that case?
No, ma'am.
You have 30 days in which to appeal. If you need the services of an attorney, you can apply to the court. If you qualify, one will be appointed to you. Mr. Jamison, you gotta stay away from Centerview Boulevard and John Young Parkway, or you're just gonna keep coming back here, okay?
Okay, cool.
All right, have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Townsend.
I'll stick around for a few minutes.
Thank you.
Your Honor, if Miss Odell's next, she also completed the drug diversion level 1, read the form, read the packet, signed the form.
Okay, Ruth Odell? Good morning, ma'am. State your name and date of birth, please.
Ruth and Odell, 53081.
Thank you. State?
State announces a null pros, Your Honor.
Ms. Odell, the state just announced that they are going to dismiss this charge against you since you've completed the level 1 diversion program, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Eliza Rios Rodriguez? Oh, he's in Cosina. Huh? Yeah. Good morning, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Eliza Rios Rodriguez, 4/22/1980.
Thank you, sir. You're here for arraignment this morning for knowingly driving while license suspended. That is a second-degree misdemeanor, punishable by up to 60 days in jail, 6 months probation, and a $500 fine. State, is there an offer?
Yes, Your Honor, the offer is adjudication of guilt, 25 days Osceola County Jail, and costs.
Mr. King, is that something that you guys have discussed?
Yes, Your Honor, we discussed it. He'd like to plead not guilty.
All right, it does not appear that you have been appointed to the case. Mr. Rodriguez, when was the last time you worked?
Right before I got arrested, like that week. I'm a plumber pipe fitter, so
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that last part.
I said I'm a plumber pipe fitter. I worked the last week before I came to jail.
Okay. We don't know how long he'll be in there, huh? I'm going to provisionally appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Provisionally means only temporarily. When you get out, you're currently being held on an Orange County case, but when you get out, if you return to appointment, then you'll need to update your application with the court for review. Mr. King, not guilty?
Not guilty, Your Honor. Thank you.
Matter be set for pretrial.
Thank you.
Thank you. I almost asked you a stupid question. I almost asked you a stupid question. I almost asked you what day it was.
Ay.
And it's stupid because yesterday was my son's birthday, so I should know what today is. Yadiel Torres?
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning. State your name and date of birth, please.
Good morning. Yadiel Torres, 12/14/2000.
Thank you. Mr. Torres, you're here for arraignment on 2 charges. The first is domestic violence battery, which is a first-degree misdemeanor punishable by up to 1 year in jail, 1 year supervised probation, $1,000 fine. The second is violation of PTR conditions as a result of a domestic violence case, which is also a first-degree misdemeanor punishable by up to 1 year in jail, 1 year supervised probation, and $1,000 fine. State, was there an offer on this matter?
Yes, Your Honor. The offer is an adjudication of guilt, 240 days Osceola County Jail, and costs. And that is a global offer for 20 mm 1138 and 20 mm 662.
Okay.
I see Mr. King is quick on that mute button. It killed him being over here and not being able to do that.
Aw.
It's a completely different atmosphere over there, you know?
I know, Mr. King. I can recall him if you guys want to talk a little bit. That resolves all 3 cases.
Was the felony case, is there still an open felony case as well?
My guess is it's probably been downgraded to MM, or
That's what I-
is there a separate one? No, there is an open felony case.
Okay. Talk to Ms. Perez.
What is that one?
Can we recall him, Your Honor?
The felony is burglaries of a conveyance. There's a couple charges for that and petty theft, so it's really not related to the domestic violence so much.
7 counts.
7 counts on the felony, Mr. King. Kevin Hernandez.
Mr. Lopez is not over there in the courtroom with you all, is he?
He is not.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, Mr. Hernandez. State your name and date of birth, please.
Kevin Hernandez, December 18, 1992.
All right, Mr. Hernandez, you are here as a plea date certain. Mr. King, is Mr. Lopez handling that?
It was his case, and there's just an issue that I was not, that I just don't, I'm not unclear with.
All right.
Something that the prosecutor has, in the plea off, I have that it's concurrent. All 3 of these charges are supposed to be concurrent, credit time served, or what was the, could I get the offer, like, officially, and then we can go over the plea form with him and then call him back up? Just
Yes.
Because,
Yes.
I was just a little, on each one of the 3 cases, please, so that way I can.
We got you, don't worry. Go ahead, Ms. Card.
Okay, so the reason it's a little more complicated is this offer was worked out by the felony PD and the felony ASA. And so since we can't handle the felony charges, I'm just gonna list out what we have for the misdemeanor ones. So he has 2 VOPs that are in our division, 19 CT 2848 and 19 MM 2759. For those two VOPs, the offer is admit the violation, revoke and terminate probation, 8 months Osceola County Jail, and costs. And the VOPs run concurrent with one another. Then we have the two new laws in our division, 20 MM 258 and 20 CT 50. Those two new laws are running consecutive to the VOPs. And the offer for the two new laws is adjudication of guilt, 8 months Osceola County Jail, and costs. On 20 CT 50, it is an M2, so that would be credit time served. So basically, the plea to the VOPs are concurrent with one another, and the plea to the new laws are concurrent with one another, but
consecutive to the VOP.
exactly.
Okay.
Thank
You
you.
got all that, Mr. King, or do I need to break it down?
Okay, so let me go over what I got, and you all can, if you don't mind, tell me where I'm wrong. Okay, so 20 CT 50 is credit time served.
Correct.
Okay. 20 MM 35 8 or 358
358.
consecutive to VOP.
358 or
8 months
258?
OCJ.
358.
358, I wrote it down wrong. I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Because I wrote down.
Okay, do I?
Repeat that on the 358, Mr. King.
20 MM 358, adjudication of guilt, 8 months OCJ, consecutive to VOPs?
Correct.
Okay. Court costs. So, and then the VOPs. I've only got one VOP on the docket today. So, I've got 19 MM 2759, but I also wrote down 19 CT 2848. Okay. And the credit time served I have on, if we could also get a calculation of that also.
So on 2759, it's 192 days.
Okay, that's what I have here.
What do you got on 2848?
Well,
And then we'll need it for 358 as well.
358 and
Here, hold on.
50 are the same, 156. Let
tight.
me see on
The new law
got you.
358 is 156 days.
Yes.
I'm calculating right now for the next.
And we're calculating on the 2848.
Cool, thank you.
Good morning, Ms. Dorn.
Judge, you don't need any information about the other two felony cases that were part of this, right? Okay. Thank you.
So I have information from probation.
Thank you.
$191.
2848 is 191.
And 191 on 2848?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Let me go over this stuff with him if you don't mind.
Not at all, Mr. King.
And then, are we ready on, who was the one that? Yeah, are we ready on me? Okay.
I'm ready on Tyrese Campbell. Mr. Hernandez, if you'll just go have a seat, please. They're going to come talk to you.
Okay, so let's do some math first.
Good morning, sir. State your name and date of birth again, please.
Good morning. Yadiel Torres, 12/14/2000.
I'm looking for Tyrese Campbell.
Oh, Campbell? Sorry.
He's the one in the enclosure. I don't know how that happened.
Your Honor, Celia Thacker Dorn for the City of Kissimmee. I apologize. I did not know about the hearing.
Your Honor, on Campbell, did you guys confirm the information that you were looking to confirm?
I have the city attorney here.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Yes.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
Just pull stuff out. Good morning again, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Tyrese Campbell, 02/17/01.
Thank you. Mr. Campbell, you are here for violation of curfew order. which is a city violation. Ms. Dorn?
The city has an offer for Mr. Campbell. It would be credit time served along with adjudication of guilt and court costs.
Ms. Perez, is that something that you all would like to discuss?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. I'll recall it.
Thank you.
Ms. Dorn, if you want to stick around, you can. If you don't, you don't have to. I figured that was the offer, but I didn't want to make that assumption, being that it's a different charge than what we normally have. So when Mr. Townsend offered, I'm like, yes, please. You don't have any other emails?
Well, apparently, through the county, they get the docket, or I'm assuming because after I emailed the docket, someone emailed me back, and I'm like, I had no clue who the person was. So I'm like, field arraignments means video. Like, I wasn't sure. I don't know who it was. And then they explained we have 2 cases on the docket. I'm like, oh, okay. But I don't have an email for. Okay, perfect. So whenever I see it, I know I can shoot you an email. Great, thank you. Perfect. Thank you so much.
You know, Diane, if I had continued to flip up, then I would have known what some of those dates were on him. I had 2 more sheets behind it that I had.
Well, the CT's not on. Because the CT was set for the hearing.
Your Honor,
Yes, ma'am?
for the ordinance charge, you said you're not willing to set that for a pretrial at the moment?
I wasn't until I got the attorney here.
Okay, so he can move forward with a plea.
So he wants to take it to trial rather than plea out today and get out?
Is he not being held on his other cases? I believe he has a
I don't know.
GTA case. It's my understanding that he has a felony GTA case as well.
He's being held on the MM. Is he being held on the felony?
Give me 1 second.
And Ms. Perez, in the future, don't bring anyone up unless I call them.
Okay.
No,
What's he being
he
held?
bonded on the felony.
He bonded on the felony. What about the MM?
Yes. He has a bond, $1,000.
And he has a bond on the misdemeanor of $1,000 if he chooses to bond out.
Okay.
So he's in on the misdemeanor simply because he has not bonded out.
Okay.
And they said that the MO the MO's 1,000. I don't know who did this.
The MO has a bond of 1,000.
Okay, so the MO's 1,000, and then 750 on the MM 1280.
The MM 1280 is 750.
Yes, 500 count 2.
All right, so he has bonds on both cases that are keeping him in there. It's just whether he chooses to bond out or not.
Okay. One moment, Your Honor.
Sorry, tell her I'm getting it for her. So her name is.
Who? Is that Nairi? Is that Nairi or the court reporter?
No. I added her the other day. Hold on. Oh, right here.
Yes, counsel?
Yes, Your Honor. He'd like to enter a plea of not guilty.
All right, matter be set for pretrial. Ms. Dorn, if I can speak with you before you leave, please. And Ms. Perez, could you please announce your full legal name on the record so that court reporter can get it down?
Yes, Elinette Perez on behalf of the Public Defender's Office.
You spell it, please?
E-L-I-N as in Nancy, E-T-T, Perez, P-E-R-E-Z.
Thank you. Ms. Campbell, did you advise Ms. Perez, did you advise Mr. Campbell that the MO charge is punishable by up to 60 days in jail?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Yadiel Torres. Good morning again, sir. State your name, please.
Good morning, Yadiel Torres, 12/14/2000.
Ms. Perez, what are we doing with this case?
Elinette Perez on behalf of Mr. Torres. He is going to enter a plea of not guilty.
All right, matter will be set for pretrial in July.
He did also want to inform the court that there was a declination filed in this case. Yeah.
All right, well, it's up to the state on whether they move forward or not the courts.
I know, I informed him that. Thank you.
Thank you. Everybody tries to give me way more power than I have.
It's nice and easy. Not guilty.
Mr. King, does that mean you're ready on Hernandez?
Yeah, we just want to clarify one of the things real quick.
Okay.
He would get all of his credit time served.
Of course he would.
That's what we just wanted to make sure that was on the record, so, cool. And that'll be part of the plea, too.
It is a violation of the law for me not to give him credit for the time he's actually served on each individual case.
You know, Your Honor, you say it with so much more authority and confidence than I say it.
Well, I guess since I'm the one that would be passing down the sentencing, it's a little more comforting when it comes out of my mouth.
You good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you ready to proceed forward?
You understand all the rights and everything?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep, we're good. Oh.
Mr. Hernandez, raise your right hand to be sworn, please.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you shall give to be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. State your name and date of birth again, please.
Kevin Hernandez, December 18, 1992.
Thank you. All right, since we've got several things going here, we're going to do each of them individually. It's going to seem very redundant, but we have to cover all of our bases. We're going to start with 20 MM 279. Did you have the opportunity to review the admission form?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have any questions about it?
No, Your Honor.
Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol which would impair your ability to understand the terms of the admission in which you're about to enter?
No, Your Honor.
Is anyone forcing you to accept the state's offer today?
No.
Is it paragraph 2, Mr. King?
It's
Not sure which form you have, 2 or 4.
It's the paragraph 2.
Thank you. Paragraph 2 sets forth your constitutionally protected rights. Do you agree to waive those rights in this case in exchange for the court accepting this admission?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you are not a United States citizen, do you understand that by entering into this admission, it will be cause for deportation?
Yes, Your Honor.
Based upon the court's review of the on-view violation of probation affidavit, which was executed on January 14th, 2020, court finds that there's sufficient factual basis to move forward. So I'm going to find that you are alert and intelligent, that you're entering into this admission freely and voluntarily, and the court will accept it. The terms of the admission are an adjudication of guilt, revoke and terminate the prior probation conditions, 8 months in the Osceola County Jail with credit time served of 192 days, and any outstanding costs. Looks like there's $535.50 due on this particular case. You'll need to report to the clerk's office within 90 days of your release to set up a payment plan. They will charge you a processing fee. First payment will be due that day. It's usually around $50, sometimes less, sometimes more, but be prepared to make it. Do you have any questions regarding that case?
No, Your Honor.
You have 30 days in which to appeal. If you need the services of an attorney, you can apply to the court. If you qualify, one will be appointed to you. Now I'm going to turn to CT 2848. Did you review the admission form?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any questions about it?
No.
Anyone forcing you to accept the state's offer today?
No, Your Honor.
Paragraph 2 sets forth your constitutionally protected rights. Do you agree to waive those rights in exchange for the court accepting this admission today?
Yes.
If you are not a United States citizen, do you understand that by entering into this admission, it will be cause for deportation?
I understand, Your Honor.
You're under the influence of any drugs or alcohol which would impair your ability to understand the terms of the admission in which you're about to enter.
No.
Based upon the court's review of the on-view violation of probation affidavit executed January 14, 2020, court finds that there's sufficient factual basis to move forward. Going to find that you are alert and intelligent, that you're entering into this admission freely and voluntarily, and the court will accept it. The terms of the admission are an adjudication of guilt, revoke and terminate the prior probation conditions, 8 months in the Osceola County Jail to be served concurrently with 2019 MM 2759 and any outstanding court costs. If there are court costs outstanding in this case, you'll need to report to the clerk's office within 120 days of your release to set up a payment plan or to pay in full. Any questions regarding that case?
No, Your Honor.
You have 30 days in which to appeal. If you need the services of an attorney, you can apply to the court. If you qualify, one will be appointed to you. Now I'm going to turn to 20 CT 50. You have the opportunity to review the plea form.
Yes.
Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have enough time to speak with the attorneys about it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied with their services?
Yes.
Anyone forcing you to accept the state's offer?
No.
Paragraph 3 sets forth your constitutionally protected rights, including but not limited to your right to a jury trial, your right to a speedy trial. Do you agree to waive those rights in exchange for the court accepting this plea today?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol which would impair your ability to understand the terms of the plea in which you're about to enter?
No, Your Honor.
If you're not a United States citizen, do you understand that by entering into this plea, it will be cause for deportation?
Yes, Your Honor.
Based upon the court's review of the uniform traffic citation, I find there's sufficient factual basis to move forward. So I'm going to find that you are alert and intelligent, that you're entering into this plea freely and voluntarily, and the court will accept it. The terms of the plea are an adjudication of guilt, 60 days in the Osceola County Jail with credit time served of 156 and court costs in the amount of $273. You need to report to the clerk's office within 120 days to set up a payment plan or to pay it in full. If you choose a payment plan, they will charge you a convenience fee, and the first payment will be due that day. Do you have any questions?
No, Your Honor.
You have 30 days in which to appeal. If you need the services of an attorney, you can apply to the court. If you qualify, one will be appointed to you. And that is to be served consecutive to 2019 MM 2759 and 2019 CT 2848. I know, don't give me that look. I'm just announcing what they've told me. Last but not least, 20 MM 358. Did you review the plea form?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have enough time to speak with the attorneys about it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied with their services?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anyone forcing you to accept the state's offer today?
No, Your Honor.
Paragraph 3 sets forth your constitutionally protected rights, including but not limited to your right to a jury trial, your right to a speedy trial. Do you agree to waive those rights in exchange for the court accepting this plea today?
Yes.
If you're not a United States citizen, do you understand that by entering into this plea, it will be cause for deportation?
I understand, Your Honor.
Based upon the court's review of the charging affidavit, I find there's sufficient factual basis to move forward. Sir, I'm going to find that you are alert and intelligent, that you're entering into this plea freely and voluntarily, and the court will accept it. The terms of the plea are an adjudication of guilt, 8 months in the Osceola County Jail, to be served consecutive to 19 MM 2759 and 19 CT 2848, and court costs in the amount of $273. You'll need to report to the clerk's office within 120 days of your release to set up a payment plan or to pay it in full. If you choose a payment plan, they will charge a convenience fee, and the first payment will be due that day. Do you have any questions?
How much credit time served I got on that charge?
156 days.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Any other questions?
No.
You have 30 days in which to appeal. If you need the services of an attorney, you can apply to the court. If you qualify, one will be appointed to you. Mr. Hernandez, I hope not to see you again.
Thank you.
Good luck to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Judge, on that one you did, the court course is on count 2 only?
That's it.
You announced
for,
273?
Our morning
That's
docket, I believe, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, Mr. King?
That's it for us in our morning docket, I believe. There's a
It
bunch of
appears.
new people
I've
in
run out of docket sheets, so unless you got someone over there hiding that wasn't on my docket.
No, we do not.
All right, I'll see you tomorrow, Mr. King. Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye.
You are here for an initial appearance after detention. The rules of criminal procedure require that you be brought before a judicial officer within 24 hours of your arrest. The purpose of the initial appearance is to have a judge list the charges against you, inform you of certain rights that you have, and to determine the conditions of your release. You should have already received a copy of these charges. The judge will review your paperwork to determine if there was probable cause to arrest you. If the judge finds probable cause, he or she will then determine if you qualify for bond and what the monetary and non-monetary conditions of your bond should be. If the judge does not have enough information to make a probable cause determination for your arrest, the state may be given additional time to amend the paperwork. You should also be aware of the following rights afforded to you by the Constitution. You are not required to say anything at this proceeding. Anything you say can be used against you. You have the right to communicate with counsel, family, or friends, and if necessary, you will be provided a reasonable means to do so. You have the right to counsel. If you have not already retained counsel and cannot afford counsel, the judge will appoint you a public defender. For the purposes of today's initial appearance proceedings, you may be able to briefly speak with a public defender regardless of whether the public defender is appointed for you. In order to have an attorney appointed by the court to represent you, you must be financially eligible, as determined by the court based on financial information you provide. Therefore, if you have not already done so, please complete, to the best of your knowledge, the financial affidavits provided by the correction officers. An application fee for the services of appointed counsel will be assessed. If you do not speak English or Spanish, please let a corrections officer know. When the judge is ready, she or he will begin calling your case by name. Please listen carefully for your name. When called, please approach the microphone as directed by the corrections officers. Thank you.
Usted se encuentra aquí para una audiencia o vista preliminaria, después de haber sido arrestado. Las leyes y estatutos criminales del estado de la Florida requieren que se celebre una vista preliminaria ante un oficial judicial dentro de un plazo de 24 horas después de su arresto. El propósito de esta vista preliminaria es para que el juez pronuncie los cargos contra usted, para que se les comunique a usted sus derechos procesales y para determinar las condiciones de su libertad o fianza. Ya usted debería haber recibido una copia de estas alegaciones o acusaciones por escrito. Ahora, el juez revisará la documentación en su caso para determinar si existe motivo fundado o causa probable para su arresto y detención. Si el juez determina que existe causa probable o motivo fundado, entonces decidirá si usted califica para que se le otorgue una fianza, tanto como cuáles serían las condiciones monetarias o no monetarias de dicha fianza. Si el juez no posee suficiente información para determinar si existe causa probable o motivo fundado para justificar el arresto, se le concederá a la Fiscalía tiempo adicional para modificar la documentación. También se les avisa que posee los siguientes derechos que se les otorgan por la Constitución. A usted no se le puede obligar a decir nada durante esta vista. Cualquier cosa que diga podrá ser utilizada en su contra como evidencia. Usted tiene el derecho de comunicarse con un abogado, pariente o amigo, y si es necesario, que se les proporcione los medios razonables y disponibles para hacerlo. Usted tiene el derecho a un abogado. Si todavía no ha encontrado o contratado un abogado y no tiene los recursos para hacerlos, entonces el juez le nombrará un defensor público. Para el propósito de la audiencia preliminaria de hoy, se le permitirá hablar brevemente con un abogado de la oficina del defensor público, aun cuando no se le haya nombrado para representarle en todo el caso. Para poder recibir la designación de un abogado, primero debe calificar económicamente según lo determine el juez. Esto será basado en la información financiera que usted proporcione aquí. Por lo tanto, si no lo ha hecho todavía, de la mejor manera posible, por favor, llene el formulario de insolvencia económica que se le ha proporcionado por el oficial de correcciones. Se le impondrá un recargo o costo por los servicios del defensor público. Si usted no habla inglés, por favor, hágale saber al oficial de correcciones. Cuando esté listo, el juez comenzará el proceso llamando a cada una persona y caso por su nombre. Por favor, esté pendiente para pasar adelante cuando escuche su nombre y cuando escuche su nombre, haga el favor de acercarse al micrófono, tal como le indique el oficial de correcciones. Muchas gracias por su atención.
All right, good afternoon. For the folks who are here for initial appearance, a couple of things. First, I've reviewed the arrest affidavits in all the cases, and unless I indicate otherwise when your case is called, I do find probable cause to believe that you committed the offense for which you've been arrested based on the arrest affidavits. Further, unless you affirmatively indicate to me that you have a private lawyer, I will appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you in all the cases this afternoon. If you'll please come forward as your name is called, and we'll start with the interpreter case.
Good afternoon, Judge. This is Carlos Morales, State Certified Spanish Court Interpreter. The interpreter has been sworn in already today.
Okay, good afternoon, Mr. Morales. We're here for initial appearances. First case we'll be calling up is case 19 CT 3034, State versus Alexis David De Jesus Lugo. Good afternoon, sir. If you'll please tell us your name.
Buenas tardes, señor. ¿Cómo se llama usted?
The microphone's off, I believe.
Alexis David de Jesus Lugo.
Alexis David de Jesus Lugo.
Mr. De Jesus Lugo, you were arrested on a warrant for violation of probation.
Señor Lugo, usted fue arrestado por una orden por incumplimiento del régimen de probatoria.
This was on a charge of driving while under the influence.
La acusación era por haber conducido bajo los efectos.
It's alleged that you violated your probation by committing the offense of driving with license suspended on May 17th of 2020.
Y la acusación es que el delito que usted cometió, el incumplimiento, es que condujo con una licencia suspendida el 17 de mayo del 2020.
It's further alleged that you failed to pay the fines and court costs as ordered.
Además, también se le acusa de no pagar las costas y multas que se le habían impuesto.
It's alleged that you failed to complete community service hours as ordered.
También se le acusa de no cumplir con las horas de servicio comunitario que se le habían impuesto cumplir.
And it's alleged that you failed to complete the victims awareness class as ordered.
Además, también se le acusa de no cumplir con el curso de sensibilización a las víctimas que se le había impuesto tomar.
Judge Epperson has set your bond at 0 in this case.
Y el juez Epperson no le ha asignado fianza para este caso.
The Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you.
Y se han nombrado los defensores públicos para que lo representen.
And your next court date will be
Next court date, June 18th, in courtroom 4A at 8:05 a.m.
La próxima vista será el 18 de junio, la sala 4A, a las 8:05 de la mañana.
Thank you, sir.
Gracias.
Does anyone else require the services of the Spanish language interpreter? If so, if you'll please come forward at this time.
Si hay alguien que necesita los servicios de un intérprete en español, acérquese al micrófono.
Takers.
There is someone showing up that will need one for Fabian, but that's inside the courtroom. Yeah, one of the victims will need an interpreter for Fabian.
I'm sorry, what's the defendant's name?
LaSalle, Fabian LaSalle.
All right, do we have a witness here at the case? We'll stand by just a moment, Mr. Morales. We're seeing if a witness is here who requires the interpreter.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, we don't have any witness. So we'll call that case at the end to see if the witness appears, but at this time, Mr. Morales, thank you, sir.
You're welcome, Your Honor. Thank you.
right, Michael Bolu. State your name, sir.
Michael Moyer.
Bolu.
Boyer, W, Boyer.
Bolu, you're arrested on a charge of trespass. You have a bond of $250. It appears that you are out on your recognizance of another trespass charge. Do we know if that's the same location?
I believe it is, Judge. The defendant made it clear to me this morning that he was out, or he got arrested again at the same location where he was not told not to go to.
But she allowed me to come back in. And then without me knowing it, she called the police. But I will not be going back to the residence, and I am going to go forth with the charges. We'll stay to court. But I would like to be out. I do have somewhere to go.
You have to find another place to go.
I'm taking her to court.
I'm sorry?
I'm taking her to court because it's happened multiple times when she lied.
You can, excuse me, we're not going to talk about or resolve the case today, and it may not be in your best interest to talk about the facts of the case. But at this time, your bond in this case will remain at $250. That bond will be conditioned upon you not returning to the residence at 790 Roll Street and not having contact with Sherry Ann Hogan. You may return on one occasion accompanied by a law enforcement officer to retrieve clothing or personal possessions you may have at that address. But otherwise, no matter what Ms. Hogan may say, you are not to return to that address. I'm not going to take any action on the other case for which you're out on release on your recognizance at this time. Your next court date will be?
Next court date is still in jail, June 18th. If filed, July 20th in courtroom 5B at 8:30 a.m.
Thank you, sir. John Blagg.
Your Honor, he's detoxing.
All right, we'll reset Mr. Blagg to tomorrow. The court does find probable cause. His bond is $500. It'll remain at $500 at this time. His office is appointed to represent him. Joshua Cates.
Your Honor, in this case, I would argue there's no probable cause because the knife they found was, they didn't specify how big it was, and it could have just been a regular pocket knife. It had a sheath on it.
All right, thank you. Hey, did you wish to be heard?
State would request 24 hours to follow up with the officer.
Okay. State your name, sir.
Joshua Cates.
I'm sorry?
Joshua Cates.
All right, Ms. Cates, you're arrested for carrying a concealed weapon. I concur with your attorney and the public defender's office is appointed to represent you, as I indicated, that there's presently not probable cause established in this case. The bond was set at $1,000. I'm going to go ahead and reduce the bond to $500, and I'll give the state 24 hours to submit a supplemental affidavit. You are out on bond in two cases with Judge Wooten. Based on the nature of this particular offense, I'm not going to take any action on those bonds. So your bond remains in effect as to those cases. So if you post a bond of $500, you'll be released pending your next court date. If you're unable to post bond or don't post bond, we'll see you tomorrow at initial appearance, and we'll see if the state can establish probable cause based on the nature of the weapon they claim was concealed. Other than possibly seeing you tomorrow, your next court dates will be?
Next court date is still in jail, June 18th. If filed, July 22nd in courtroom 5B at 8:30 a.m.
Thank you, sir. D'Angelo King.
He's approaching, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, sir. If you'll please tell us your name.
D'Angelo King.
Mr. King, you're arrested on a charge of battery. Your bond was set at 0. Do we have any information on Mr. King?
We have prior history going back to 2006, charges of domestic battery, criminal mischief, aggravated battery with a deadly weapon.
That was deadly weapon. That wasn't me. That wasn't me.
As recent history going back to 2018 with a battery, those charges were dropped, and well, total 4 failure to appears. We were not able to contact the victim at this time.
Okay.
It was no victim. The victim, it was my.
Okay, Mr. King, let me stop you for just a moment, sir. Mr. King, I can't hear you. Your attorney's turned off the microphone, so if you'll bear with me for just a moment, sir. We're not here to determine whether you're guilty or not of these charges today. That will be done at a later time if the state files formal charges. Right now, the court is considering conditions of release, and at this time, the court has to take the affidavit that was prepared in support of your arrest at face value. I do find probable cause that the offense was committed and that you were the person who committed it.
No, it
Now,
wasn't no.
I understand you disagree with that, sir, but the court, all right.
Anything, sir.
I'm sorry?
I didn't put my hands on anybody, sir.
Okay, well, I'm not saying that
You
you,
looked in my face.
Mr. King, I'm not saying that you did. You may be entirely innocent. But here we're talking about probable cause. There is an affidavit that supports the allegation that you did commit a battery.
Wow.
Now, does he qualify for pretrial release with bond?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. Mr. King, do you have another place you can stay on a temporary basis, sir?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Based on the nature of the allegations in this case, I'm going to I can't release you directly on pretrial release due to the nature of the charge, but I will set bond in the amount of $100. It will be conditioned upon supervision by pretrial release. It will further be conditioned upon you not having contact until further order of the court with Giovanni Romani. You will not possess any weapons or firearms. You will also be ordered not to return until further order of the court to the address at 1533 Manor Drive, although you may do so on one occasion accompanied by a law enforcement officer to pick up clothing or other personal possessions you may have at that residence.
Yes, sir.
The pretrial release will be with mental health conditions if deemed appropriate. Now, Mr. King, the conditions of release may be modified, and you may be allowed contact, you may be allowed to return, but that has to be done through the court.
Yes, sir.
So,
Please help me, sir.
well, I'm trying to, sir. If you want to have contact, if you want to return, talk to your lawyer. You're represented by the Public Defender's Office. They can schedule a hearing before the judge that will be handling your case. That judge may allow you to return, may allow further contact. But at this point, until or unless such an order is entered, you cannot have that contact. So you have to, as I said, find another place to stay on a temporary basis. Your next court date will be?
Still in jail, June 18th. It filed July 17th in courtroom 4E at 8:30 a.m.
Okay. And Ms. King, it's important that you tell your attorney all the facts of the case. As you suggest, you may be entirely innocent of these charges. And if your attorney has all that information,
Yes.
he or she can talk to the state. They may decide not to file any charges against you.
Yes, that's the way it should be, sir.
Well, that very well may happen, but unfortunately, you have to be patient with the process until that occurs.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you, sir.
How many days is away from June 18th?
That's next week, next Thursday. this bond with pretrial release with mental health. Yeah. Roma Miller. State your name, please.
Roma Miller.
Ms. Miller, you're arrested on a charge of battery on a person 65 years of age or older. Your bond was set at 0. Do we have any prior history?
She has no prior history, Judge, and we were not able to contact the victim.
Okay. Ms. Miller, I'm going to set bond, in this case, the amount of $500. It will be conditioned upon supervision by pretrial release. If you do post bond, you will have to find another place to stay on a temporary basis. It's a condition of your bond that you not, and pretrial release, that you not have contact with David Huggins, and that you not return to 46 Bolton Court in Kissimmee. You may do so on one occasion accompanied by a law enforcement officer to retrieve clothing or personal possessions you have at that address. The Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you. Your next court date is on demand in circuit court.
Your Honor?
Yes.
The defendant has requested that she be able to, she takes care of the sister that lives at that location. I understand we haven't been able to contact the victim, but she's just requesting that she could be allowed to go back to that home to take care of her.
I'll need more, I would need more information regarding that. I'm afraid you'll have to set a hearing with the judge that's handling the case.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Miller, your next court date is on demand in circuit court. Thank you. Robert Ortiz.
Your Honor, Ortiz is in medical bay.
Okay. All right, Mr. Ortiz was arrested for aggravated battery. His bond was set at $2,500. I believe his bond at that amount at this time. The Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent him. And I'm not going to take any action on the traffic case that he's out on pretrial release for at this time. We will reset him to tomorrow. Sorry? Yeah, I find probable cause. Ayanna Price? Good afternoon. State your name, please.
Ayanna Price.
Okay, Ms. Price, you were arrested on a charge of aggravated assault. And the court does find probable cause to believe the offense was committed based on the arrest affidavit. Your bond is presently set at 0. Do we have any information on Ms. Price?
One prior arrest in 2012 for petty theft. Those charges were dismissed. The victim in this case is requesting third-party contact only in regards to the children. And the victim is stating that they do not live together.
Right. All right, Ms. Price, I'm going to set bond in your case in the amount of $500. It will be conditioned upon supervision by pretrial release.
I didn't hear the last part that he was saying. The victim requested what?
The victim requested contact only through third parties. There'll be no face-to-face contact. So it'll be a condition of pretrial release that you not have contact with, direct contact with William Bostic. I will allow you to contact Mr. Bostic through a third party. Do you have family or someone who can?
Yeah.
Okay. So you can contact him through your family to arrange visitation or address the welfare of your daughter. You will not return to the address at 3250 Cottonwood Court. You will not possess any weapons or firearms. Your next court date will be on demand in circuit court, which means that will be scheduled after the state has reviewed this case and decided what charges, formal charges, if any, they're going to file. So you talk to your attorney may be able to assist with that. Thank you. Fabian LaSalle, if we could check one more time, see if the witness is here. Good afternoon. State your name, sir.
Fabian LaSalle.
Mr. LaSalle, you're arrested on a charge of battery. Your bond is presently set at 0. Do we have any prior history on Mr. LaSalle?
Mr. LaSalle has prior history going back to 2003, charges of domestic battery, simple battery, grand theft of firearms, dealing stolen property. And the last arrest came in 2011, dealing stolen property. The victim requested no contact.
All right. Mr. LaSalle, I'm going to set bond in your case the amount of $500. It will be conditioned upon supervision by pretrial release. If you do post bond until further order of the court, you are ordered to have no contact directly or indirectly with Keisha Janice Vega Sanchez. You will not return to the area of 628 Royalty Court. You may return on one occasion accompanied by a law enforcement officer to retrieve clothing or personal possessions from that address. But other than that, you are not to go back to that address. The conditions of no contact and no return can be modified by the court that will be hearing your case. But until or unless that is done, you cannot do that, even if Ms. Vega Sanchez seeks to have you come back. So if you want those conditions modified, talk to your lawyer. The lawyer can schedule a hearing before the court that will be handling your case. Okay. There will be a condition that you not possess any weapons or firearms. And your next court date will be?
Next court date is still in jail, June 18th. It filed July 17th in courtroom 4E at 8:30 a.m.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. All right, I believe that's all we have.
Yes, sir, that's it.
Thank you, folks. So we'll be, I guess, in recess until 2.